Yes, we're live again. It's Wednesday again. We made it. We recovered from Thunder the Snake and Trial by Stone.
I don't know if I would say recovered.
I was gonna say those guys know
survived.
Yeah, we made it. There's that. That was a good show. 3 hours.
Was it 3 hours?
I don't know if that's our longest or the second longest. I think Jason Cupp and the boys.
Yeah, that was
that
probably.
was like 3:05.
Yeah.
And that's about as long as I have.
Let's not extend it out much further beyond that.
Maybe season 2.
No.
Season 2 is going to be week-long live shows.
Just have people randomly showing up.
Going to be 8 hours of me sleeping in the yard. It's camera time. Hell yeah. It's going to be great.
You could have a random drop-in section where somebody comes and like knocks on it, and you open it, you're like, who's in the thing? You know, they come in the door.
As long as they ain't wearing badges, we'll be all right.
Santa needs to come in before Christmas.
Yeah, Santa needs to break through the door.
Yeah.
Like the Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah!
Yeah. All right, so welcome. How you guys doing? Welcome back.
You guys.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be back.
Yes, I'm excited to hear some about PACT.
Yeah, Alicia can
really?
Yeah.
We're going to jump straight into the one that's being quiet over here.
she could fill you in on some of our programs and stuff, and that's what the event coming up is about, is raising the matching funds portion of the grant.
Scoot forward just a little bit. There
Can you hear me?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I promise I won't bite.
We're raising funds
much
to basically get our matching funds that are required for the grant that we got for the program for P.A.C.T. And so this is part of the community effort, because the community has to donate so much in order for the state to be like, oh, you're worth us
investing
giving money,
in,
you know,
right? Yeah.
You're not gonna steal the money, you know. Like, we have found there's lots of nonprofits that are actually like that. That's why it's so hard in the nonprofit world to get. You would think it should be easy to help people, but it's because so many people take advantage that it's not easy because of that. You know? We've even seen it in town where somebody created a nonprofit in a time frame just to apply for city funding, and then when they got the money, did nothing. You know, and
Really?
They didn't get what they asked for, but they got $75,000 to research for the project that they asked for.
Wow.
And they didn't do anything with it, and then the city changed a lot of the rules due to that exact type of situation, which then makes it harder on us coming in when we're trying to do the right thing, and not in a grand scheme of like, we're asking for more than $75,000 and you're going to give us $75,000. We'd be like, oh my God, $75,000? Like,
Well, luckily, we already have a really great working relationship with the state. We've gotten several grants from them before in the past that have helped funded programs at the Leon Regional Juvenile Detention Center. We have support through the National Endowment of the Arts as well, the city, the county. So we've really been keeping this going. We've maintained a great relationship with them, and you know, they really believe in what we're doing, and they see the impact that it's made. So they've so far been happy to support. We haven't had any issues whatsoever. Reporting is rigorous. You know, they want to know. They want, you know, every expense on file. They want record of it. They want, you know, just a lot. It's very tedious. It's a very tedious process, and the grant period runs from July to July, so it's, you know, middle of the year to the next year, middle of the year.
Fiscal year to fiscal year.
Yes. So yeah, but we, like I said, luckily, you know, we've always been legitimate. We've always done what we said we were going to do, and you know, that's obvious in our impact numbers. You know, we've served over 240 kids at this point. You know, we've given away, I don't know, somewhere around 75 instruments. We've really been diligent about sticking to the mission.
To play the instruments.
Yes, and of course the programs as well, teaching. So typically, I'm the one that puts together the programs, I find the resources, I find the grants, I find, the teachers, the instructors, the volunteers, the interns. So there's a lot. It's a long process. There's a lot of people that have to be involved. So it's really nice. This year we got a pretty big grant. It was around $25,000, and it was specifically for P.A.C.T. programming. So we have been in contact with them. Really, it's been about 6 or 7 months now, just really putting stuff together on the back end, seeing how it's going to work, what times we're going to be teaching. So we're going to be teaching guitar, audio engineering, which is amazing.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, I'm
I
really
would have killed it.
excited.
Hell, I'd kill to have that opportunity now.
Yeah, and we actually
Well,
hear
I'm the
that from the
professor.
community.
Bro.
He is actually, so part of the funding that we are getting from the state is actually going to be paying for Chris's certification as a Pro Tools instructor. So he'll be able to certify the girls coming out of the program. So typically these girls are in the program 2 years is really the average once they enter the program. It is a day program, so they're not locked up. It's a prevention facility. And since P.A.C.T. began, they've actually reduced female incarceration by about 80%. So it works. We've been wanting to team up with them for a while, and, we made it happen.
You guys are doing it big. You guys are doing it big.
Yeah.
Doing it real big.
We just did, I guess since we were last year, we did lessons at Department of Juvenile Justice, like where they're actually locked up. And that was pretty cool. And it's amazing how many kids in there are like actually really talented, and like, we were limited to the computers that we were using because you had to use, I guess, Department of Juvenile Justice computers.
Tech staff, yeah. So we had to get the tech staff in. They wouldn't let us actually come in and
bring in computers,
bring in stuff or upload any of the software because they want to make sure that kids don't have access to things like Instagram or social media. While they're in there, they want to make sure that it's education related only. And so coordinating that it's a lot of red tape, understandable. Because of us working with youth, especially troubled youth.
Yes.
There's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. We had to get background checks and fingerprinted and get our picture taken and go through the whole screening process.
I think they said it was, I might have this wrong, I believe it was Kodak Black was in there before we started the programs, but he was one of the kids that we could have reached, so I mean, now he's like this big time thing. And then there's another one here in town, another rapper.
It's one that Bruce always mentions.
No,
is
not
here, isn't
T-Pain.
it?
It's the one from Quincy that Bobby Fish Scale. And, he's like big time rapper now, and he's from Quincy, Gadsden County, and he was in there. I believe T-Pain was probably in there at one point. I can't remember if it was what one of the guards told me. But they've seen a lot of, kids who've gone through there that then they've seen them on a stage and been like, oh my God, that's that kid that was locked up in here. And so this is the first program they've had in the Department of Juvenile Justice. And it gives the guards and everybody incentive for these kids to behave, because if you behave, you get to participate in the Pro Tools program.
So what you're saying is that I need to get locked up.
Yeah. Then you get
Done and done.
What's funny and not funny is that we kind of joked about, we hope that kids don't
Purposely
purposely
recommit.
get
Right.
locked up because they want to record a track.
Yeah.
And so we were at Tallahassee Harley Davidson one night for an event. I think it was during the day actually, and one of the kids I taught ended up showing up with his mom and his little sister. I think it was like Easter, and he was like, "Hey man," and he asked me, like, "Oh, when you gonna be back in there?" And this
Oh,
no.
days, and like I could kind of tell how he asked me, like he was like trying to put it together, like
Right.
how he could maybe get this recording out of this situation. you
Right,
know?
and the whole point of that program was to help,
Not
reduce
go back,
recidivism.
Right.
And we didn't have a facility, and we still don't have a facility where I could be like, oh, come by this like studio, and we could offer you lessons outside of there. And, that is our goal in this whole nutshell of PACT.
Okay.
Is that we want, kind of like we had out at the Warrior, we let bands come in and practice, like Satin that was on here. I know they told that story about sneaking in the rooms and them not letting them at FSU School of Music. You can't use the practice rooms that are vacant. You
can't practice music.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
In the practice rooms.
Yeah.
So even kids at FSU still need a facility, that they can access for rehearsals, and then let alone inner city kids and stuff like that would need to ride a bus to get to a facility that is secure, that they can come after school,
safe,
and safe and learn like dance, guitar, and audio. And then if they come up with a track, they could lay it down. And what was cool about the Department of Juvenile Justice is that there was always like one or two that really liked to run the system and record the people, and that always kind of worked out well, so you got to see the artist, plus the artist got to learn a little bit about tracking themselves, and then you got to see the possible engineer who's like really into it, and it was amazing how many kids actually had a little bit of, concept of a recording system. They hadn't used Pro Tools before, but they had used other things, and so it's definitely a very important thing for our community that, takes a lot of work, like her doing the side that she does, and then the little bit I'm now doing for lessons and teaching. Like, it's a whole lot of stuff, and we've been just operating out of a little she shed.
Yes, my she shed.
Office thing.
Nice.
Trying to make these things happen, and
are the keyboards and mouses getting used?
What, the ones from LRGDC? Or yeah.
Good
no,
deal.
of course, yeah.
So, I'm in IT, and I saw a Facebook post, I believe it was, that Alicia was looking for computers.
Yes.
And so I reached out to my manager,
Yes.
and he reached out to whoever the powers that be. Apparently, our legal department got involved, and they were like, well, we're not going to give you any laptops or computers, but we'll give you keyboards and mouses.
Some big ones. They were nice. They looked absolutely brand new.
Good deal.
I was so grateful. And the way it was explained is, it takes a lot of money to actually have those professionally wiped.
Yeah.
And there was sensitive information.
I am a part of that.
So,
I'm a part of wiping them, and not only is it expensive, it takes fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a process.
Yeah.
We got some donated from the Leon County Department of Education or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
No,
they pulled
DJJ actually
they pulled all
a
the
long
hard
time
drives
ago.
out of those or
DJJ,
something?
yeah, it was Matt Sorrow
they had
who
to
was
yank all
tech
the
at
hard drives
DJJ.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, just get new hard drives for us, And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll take it.
We actually got some Macs donated, 3 Macs from a guy in town that she knew, and we got those up at P.A.C.T. for the Pro Tools because we were able to get 3 that matched, and so we got those set up for pairs, so it can be like someone recording and someone tracking, and making.
We actually left some of the equipment up at DJJ too because
DJJ
they did not want us to leave.
Yeah.
They were so sad. Like when the programs ended, they were like, "Will you come back, please?" And I was like, "Let me talk to my instructors. If they're good with volunteering, and to continue these programs, then yes, absolutely." So we kept 4 stations up there in good faith, to let them know, like, hey, you're still at the forefront. We still want to be here with you guys. Let us get these new programs, going and set up at P.A.C.T. and we'll reach back out and see.
Yeah, and we thought that we would be starting stuff at P.A.C.T. in August because we had been planning this whole thing, and they had some stuff change staff-wise there that kind of caused a little bit of issue, especially with school starting in that month. And so we thought that we were going to be back at DJJ by now. So now we're looking at spring, but that grant period ended. So it's things like that it's hard to get funding for without doing a whole lot of stuff, and then the funding it takes to do those things to
What's
get
great,
the funding. You know, it's
what's
like
great though is a lot of what we do collect and like the equipment that we do need, you know, can be used over again. Like once we have it, once we own it, we could do those programs indefinitely if we wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, like once we have it, it's good, and it's just a matter of getting those volunteers in to.
Yeah, now having instructors like, and that's the thing is like with me teaching, you know, with P.A.C.T. and there, I mean it is a lot when you're volunteering. You don't want to do it 2 days a week if you got to work 5 days.
He's actually getting paid for it this time.
Okay.
Supposedly, I'm getting paid for it.
You're getting paid for
I
it.
haven't been paid yet.
And we're paying for your certification. So
They are paying for my certification.
That's awesome.
So, you know, that's my perk of volunteering, right? So I volunteered those extra hours when our other programs ended at DJJ. I kept the Pro Tools going and volunteering, you know, as long as I could. And
they totally suckered him into that.
they did something
They did.
because they were like, oh man, you know, like, and over summer is when we were going to be leaving, and in summer a lot of kids show up, you know, and it's because they're out of school and their parents are working, you know, and they're unsupervised and they get locked up, you know, over summer, and that winter break is the same thing. And so basically anytime there's a break and it's a break in school is when the juvenile center gets flooded, you know, with kids. And we were doing inspirational speakers. We would take people in to talk. One of my buddies, Matt Lanier, he was locked up, incarcerated. One of those, you know, people that, you know, if he was going to make a change, it was going to be a hard one, you know. Mm-hmm. And dude, he made a remarkable change and is now a professional fisherman on a kayak, dude. Like that is his life, is writing for Salt Strong like magazine, filming, using lures, and wins all kinds of tournaments and stuff. And dude, he is killing it right now. And he came in and spoke because he was there all the time. He was like, you know, he's like, when I was in here, you know, I love to fish because I grew up on a lake, but I never in the world thought that like, oh wow, I could actually be like a professional fisherman, you know, like what a dream, you know. And he's like, so I'm telling y'all right now, like, I mean, just do it, you know. And
those kids did not believe that I spent a lot of time in juvie when I was younger. The guards didn't believe it. Mr. Hall did not believe it. He said, no way. I was like, listen, my rap sheet's like 6 pages long.
She was in a high-speed chase and got attacked
I
by
was.
police
Fleeing and
canines.
eluding, resisting arrest without with violence. Like, I almost hit a cop one time.
As a juvenile.
As a juvenile.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is not
As
a
a
juvenile.
Okay, true.
I would probably
Off
still
the
be in
record,
jail
it's-
if I did any of the things that I did when I was a juvenile as an adult. But I did. I almost hit a police officer once who I stole a car, and my dumbass drove down a dead end road while they were tailing me. And so I, rather than getting out of the car, this cop gets out of the car and he's like got his gun drawn at me, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna die. And so I hit reverse, you know, I turned the car around and I hauled ass, and this poor cop had to leap out of the way of the vehicle so he wouldn't get hit. So they had no idea at this point that I think I was 13 years old at the point. Yeah, I could have. But as I was coming to him and he leapt out of the way of the car instead of shooting, he realized how young I was because of how small I was. And I was like barely over the wheel, you know, and he saw, oh my God, it's a little girl, you know, I can't shoot at her. So that was interesting. I didn't actually get caught that night. It took him about 3 or 4 months.
Damn.
I left, went to another city, hitchhiked to like Orlando. It's a long story, but
But that's why she's so passionate.
that is why I'm so passionate
Makes sense,
about
you know.
what we do, you know, and stuff
Makes
like that.
sense.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, people out there in Chatland, we have a contest going on tonight. Speaking of stuff, hashtag P.A.C.T. show. Get you entered to win. At the end of the show, we will spin the wheel and see who's entered. And if nobody enters, then you know what? Maybe we'll do it again Friday.
I really respect what you guys are doing. Ever since I first started playing guitar, I'd watch like VHSs of, you know, the making of whatever album and watching the production aspect of making
yeah.
music is
Yeah.
concerned, and ever since then I've always had like this fascination with that aspect of music. And now that I have some resources about me, I'm able to kind of delve into that a little bit. But I just wish, with all my fucking wishes, that something like what you guys are doing was available to me whenever I was a kid. Yeah, you're reaching out to so many people, and
and it's important. And I was lucky in the, like her story. I didn't get chased by cops and stuff like that. But like, I grew up here around this area, and there's not a whole lot to do.
Exactly.
Except for party with your friends. And then I had friends out in the country, so that led to all kinds of stuff. And my father owned a recording studio in town, and he was managing Eric Durrance. And when I was about, I think, 12 or 13, I was starting to kind of get in trouble. And he was like, well, I think you're old enough to come with me to a show. And it was a Fuse show. Eric Durrance was in a band called Fuse. And I think it was at the old Cow House, the old brand. It's funny because I heard Thunder the Snake and Trava Stone or whatever. That y'all talked about the one on, was it Francis Street, St. Francis?
I think so.
And it was the old one where the dude that was the bouncer had a taser and shit, like real old. I don't know if y'all remember that at all.
I don't. Yeah, that was before my time.
Man, but anyway, so my first gig was like unloading drum hardware from the drummer's car, and like and then at like Floyd. So like I started to be able to do that instead of going off and doing other things, and then that led to I was welcome at the studio, and like we'd all sneak over there when my dad would leave. Like we'd ride down the road until we see that my dad's car was gone from the studio, because like everybody hung out there at night, and then like the late night recording was happening. It was all the magic, really. And so we'd sneak in there, and I'd end up staying the night and getting to play with everything. And then between that and the shows at like Floyd's, like Shaggy and Eddie would let me into the shows for free as long as I helped do like stage changeovers. So I started there just handing equipment. Oh yeah, I can help get equipment off the stage.
Yep.
Sure.
Still do.
Yes. So I turned it into a job. And,
We've unloaded a couple stages before. Like, grab your drums, get the fuck out.
Yeah. You got to do that. And Shaggy and them let me do that, and so I kind of got the stage knowledge. And then between the studio, when Eric got in that band Big Dismal and they got signed with Wind Up Records, which actually my dad was partners with Jeff Hansen, who she's working with now, in that ordeal, like co-managing Big Dismal. And so like they were kind of partners, helped getting it going. I'm not sure the details in there. And so it's funny, it's a small world, but I got to go on the road as a drum tech and like selling merch. So like I got to go, man, all over the country, just because when I was 12 and 13, I had the option to unload a damn car with some drum heads at
that's beautiful
fucking Cow House,
right.
And like I just was like, sure, and it was attractive, and things like that. So it's like if I can offer somebody that, and it's funny because even like this show coming up Saturday, I'm asking all the bands like, hey, what crew do you have? Like just to kind of encourage the younger bands to find someone who's maybe
They're
cool
like,
with
crew?
helping with them get their stuff on and off the stage, because you never know that one person in this whole thing. There's 14 bands. If there's 3 crew per band, that's a lot of possible people that might open up a club in town that in turn gives back to the community, kind of like we did. We were like, oh, we're going to play shows that'll fund our charity that creates young musicians, and they create bands who come and play on the stage, which creates the funds to fund the next generation. So it's a circle of life is how we designed this, kind of thing. And so it's really that's the root of it is, it saved her life, music and passion and stuff like that. And she's tied to, you have that decision when you're young, of making these things. You're going to go one way or the other, and if someone can offer you that little
I didn't just up
branch,
and decide,
like
it took a level 8 high risk facility program.
Wow.
I was locked up for 14 months.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was. But, I've always loved the music industry. I used to collect records when I was younger, and had a big collection when my mother and I lived in Corpus. She divorced easiest thing to say about that is she's been divorced about 6 times, and we'd always leave the state. Right? So we moved, and she sold my entire record collection.
No.
Yeah. And my keyboard. I wanted nothing more in the world. I'm like you, Rob. If I wish I would have had an opportunity. I wanted to be a musician and a dancer, and my mom said, no, you're going to be a gymnast. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll take what I can get. But, secretly I was like in my room playing on my little microphone.
Yep.
and playing by ear on the, on my keyboard. And I wanted nothing more in the world than to be a part of the music industry. And
Yep.
I found out, as early teenage years that I didn't have the gumption. Like, it takes a lot of courage to get up on stage and to bare your soul, right? So I've always admired musicians, and I thought, well, if I can't be a musician, what can I do to help support musicians? And so that's kind of where my love for being on the music business side of the industry came in. I was very young. I knew from a very young age that this is what I wanted to do. So,
Who is that
cool.
famous groupie? I was just trying to, in that movie Almost Famous, she's like, your aura, it's purple. Y'all seen that movie?
Nope.
Almost Famous? Oh, man, what a great music movie is Almost Famous.
Okay.
And it will change your life.
My mind immediately went to Rockstar for some reason.
I'm not, that's one with Mark.
Mark Wahlberg,
and
yeah.
Jennifer
No,
Aniston.
you're not missing anything.
Is that when it's Miles Kennedy actually singing, like the singer of Alter Bridge? Is that
I don't
really?
think I don't think it
I
is.
couldn't tell you.
I actually heard that Mark Wahlberg did his own vocals in that.
In Rockstar?
Yeah.
I know that Zach
Crazy.
Wild.
He may have.
I love
I think he
Wahlberg.
did.
I love
music
everything Mark
before.
Wahlberg does, man. Every movie.
Well,
he's in.
all right. If you like Mark Wahlberg, you might enjoy it.
I might need a poster to put it on my wall.
Oh yeah, on a Lamborghini. A Countach.
Oh man, he's great.
One of the good ones.
How about Macaulay Culkin? Did y'all see that he was getting this?
Yeah, he was
Star.
in American Horror Story recently.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh.
so he's making a comeback.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Guess the bank is running dry. all those royalties from fucking My Girl and
Home Alone.
and Home Alone.
He said some crazy stuff on some podcast overseas. Hey, out there, I'm surprised they let him back in Hollywood.
I know, right?
It'd be like, you're
They're
blacklisted.
just not going near him anymore. There's been a couple rock stars that started out as roadies.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, Bon Jovi went to a studio, and he was like, I think it's definitely Bon Jovi. He was basically like, I will mop the floors in here. And they hired him as a janitor
Yeah.
for the studio, and that's how he got his foot into the studio and, like, kind of got his...
Living on a prayer, man.
Yeah, dude, for real. You know?
Mop
Really?
bucket.
You know, how cool is that?
One of my favorite roadie stories. John Marshall. He was in Metal Church, I think. He was a roadie for Metallica in the 90s, and then James went and stepped into a fucking 12-foot flame of fire and burned most of his body. So John Marshall got to step in for James after the injury.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Funny, my mom, I see up there commenting. She's Phyllis.
Should we go
She's
through a few
married
of
to
these?
Yeah, let's
OG
do chats.
Magnum. You know, she said, "Chris, you helped Jacob by bringing him to work with you, and so a personal story. My brother, from here, troubled, starting to get into trouble. My father passed away when he was 14 in a motorcycle accident, so it was kind of traumatic for him, and and for me, I was 24. And so, he started coming to work with me at the bar. Didn't know a thing about anything really in music other than what he had seen me kind of do around the house when I had actually already moved out after that and before that. And anyway, he started and didn't know how to run, and then he learned the board, and then he got to where we were doing shows like this, like he could run a whole stage. And I think we did a show, it was 24 bands, so he did 12 bands, and I did 12 bands, and it was one of those where I was like, sink or swim, motherfucker.
Good luck, buddy.
like, you could do it.
Good
And
luck.
dude, he kept to that 15-minute changeover, and he had to deal with, oh, this band wants 3 DIs, and I got to run this special connection for this in order to do this, and blah, blah, blah,
Direct
blah.
input?
Yeah, direct input.
Gotcha.
But, and then there will be, some people want all kinds of crazy stuff, you know, but he used to call me in the middle of the night and ask me, like, hey, if they want this, you know, blah, 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 and I'd have to walk him through it over the phone, you know, and he got to where he could just, man, he was doing so good. And man, when he left, because he's in the Navy, I like cried about it because I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do, you know? But like, it kept him working, but you know, and what we try to, so what we also try to teach kids is like the environment. There's alcohol in the environment. There's partying in the environment, you know, and that there is work other than being the performer that you can be doing, but you have to be in this environment and not partake in the environment. And if you do partake in the environment, it could not affect your work or anything around it. Really, you just shouldn't partake, you know. And so it's like teaching that, you know, the discipline of, you know, like being around this and not doing anything, and you know, the
keeping your wits about you.
My brother learned
Keeping your
really,
fucking wits
really,
about you.
really, really well. And then the next kid that came in was Henry, not troubled. Totally different type of situation.
One of the smartest kids I've ever
And
met.
holy shit, man! I told
And the
him,
youngest
like,
board member
yeah, we're
on
using
PACT.
Behringer X32 digital boards, you know, and he never used one. And man, I swear that fucker went and printed out the catalog, like the whole manual, and read it.
The whole
you know, it's like he comes in. I've been using this board for like, I don't know, 8 years, right? He comes in and he's like, after using it a couple times, and he's like, oh, blah, 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 starts talking to me. And I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't even know what language you're using, you know? And it was how to link his computer, like laptop to this and do multi-track recording, you know, from his laptop. And man, he is, and so basically he kind of self-taught him the whole digital side. And what I taught him was how to get bands on stage, pin them, and deal with them when they're coming in, and not let them bully you, and stand your ground because you know what you're doing. So have a backbone, have some balls.
And he
you know.
never had a problem with that.
So, but you know, I helped give him that confidence, you know, and man, he left because Fire Betty's was opening, you know, and they got more money than we did, and you know, they offered him a job that was like way better paid than we could offer him, and we were like, hate to see you go, but we totally understand.
Yep.
You know, like, definitely go do this. I mean, that was the whole point in training. And now he came in, volunteered, helped out, did a ton of stuff, and got to the point where we were able to pay him because I could leave him there with a show. And like my brother, you know, Henry and I did a bunch of shows where it was like multiple bands on his stage, and he ran it, you know, from load in to load out, pack the stage up.
That was his show.
His show, I didn't have to worry about a thing. He was 16.
Yeah.
Damn.
He
Yeah.
came in at 15, you know, and I think he just turned 21, maybe, you know, but he's running their studio and was tracking them, and he's a huge part of Retrograde, you know, because his brother's Carson, the drummer, you know, so he's a huge part of that team, you know, and I know he enjoyed. He just went to that studio with him over in Alabama. The Leonard Skinner song is about it. Fame Studio in Alabama. What is the Muscle Shoals? Yeah, over there is where they went and recorded. So this will be their first show back, you know, and I think their only show of the year. And they got some pretty big stuff that they're working on. So those guys are, man, they got it. They are well-rounded, well-educated and determined and focused, you know, and like they really got it going on. You know, a lot of people can learn. But it'd be nice to, you know, have another Henry or my brother or me. You know?
Yeah.
You ever mic up a guitar amp and just tell them, dude, the 7 people that you brought to the show, nobody gives a shit about your talent. Just play. You
Oh,
wanna tell
man,
'em
I've
that?
heard some horrible tones. And then I've told some people, a ton of people, like, that speaker ain't working. Like, you've got one speaker working in this 4 speaker cabinet, you know, like, or like this one is just sounds like complete shit, you know, and like, and, you know, some people don't like it. And some people are like, oh shit, do you have any tape? Like, you can tape a little spot so I know that at least that's, you know,
Yeah.
the thing. And usually when it's blown speakers, it's because somebody is not properly sending signal through it because they're either have a terrible tone, you know, like I really can't stand high MIDI like guitar players. Like,
Yep.
Like, oh.
Yep.
Just gain to 11.
Yep.
Oh man,
Then we start to bring it up.
horrible. A lot of them come in now though with those the pedals. Oh, it's not Line 6. It's some, I can't remember what they're called, but they all run direct now. And as long as you got a good monitor, you know, rig. I don't know what they do when they show up at some venues, because some venues they just don't have monitors, you know. So it's like now you don't have a cabinet, you know, as a backup. So you got to bring your own monitor technically. You know, I think Travis, when he played with Core, that one show they did when it was the original lineup, he brought in his own little extra monitor wedge that because he was going direct like that. Those always had a good tone, unless they had some weird digital something flying around in there, man. Like, I don't know, some of them pedals are, tell them to throw it away. David Allen was like that. David Allen had a pedal that was just like, he refused to get rid of it, and you couldn't tell him, you need to throw that fucking pedal out, you know. Like every show they had a big problem with it, and the sound guy that was traveling with him told me, he's like, just can't do anything about it. I turned his wife down. Super sweet lady. I probably shouldn't even say it, but
Yeah.
she was super loud and overbearing, you know, so I turned her down, you know, and had him up above her, you know. And dude, their sound guy, because he didn't run it, he just kind of really helped, you know. And he come up, he was like, because she walked off stage, and like he was like, listen, you better turn that shit back up. If she walks out this door, he will get up and leave, you know. Like, I was like, oh my god. So I had to turn it back up. So like, if anybody's listening, they know now that's why they had to sit through that, you know. So that was one where it's like guitar tone, where you're like, you just can't say nothing sometimes to some people, you know. Usually the ones who are experienced don't have that problem, you know. I'm glad I don't have to deal with stuff like that this weekend. This will be my first show not running sound.
Yeah, do you actually get to sit back and enjoy a little bit?
Are you guys gonna watch the show?
I don't know if I'm gonna try, you know, but I'm gonna help get bands loaded in and get their laminates, and I'm gonna make sure that they're getting on and off the stage in time. They let me know that I might say his name wrong, Sevi.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sevi. He's gonna be helping them also up there, and I think Andrew's running the stage, so he's gonna learn, you know, and Shaggy's running a stage inside. I even think Shane is going to help run lights. So Shane's learning lights up there, you know, so everything's kind of taken care of. So Alicia and I are just going to do.
Yeah, he's still not going to sit down. Don't believe him. He's going to be back and forth all over that place all
Silent
night.
auction.
He's going to run 30 miles.
I don't want to do that.
Back and forth. It's going to happen.
I'll
It's
need to bring my
okay.
baby powder if I got to run.
I go hide usually. You know, I'll go find like a corner where like I'm just there in the shadows and
She's supposed to be
no one
announcing.
can approach me.
Supposed to be announcing each band
Oh, awesome.
in the music hall.
Am I?
Nice.
I guess yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Everybody will have to be there to
I might
for a
have
turn.
Bridget do it. I might put him on stage. He loves being
Which
up
we
there.
are doing a silent auction. I guess we should.
Oh, yeah.
a little bit
definitely.
with,
talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, the autograph stuff. She can kind of tell you about where we got them and
Yeah,
what we
so
have.
it is actually from a friend of mine. I used to work in a legislative affairs office a lifetime ago. His name's Ron Greenstein. He was a former House representative. And yeah. So yes, I don't talk about that part of my career a lot. I really did enjoy it. I worked for really great people. It was a really great office. It was a really good mix between Democrats and Republicans, and we all got along and made fun of each other and gave each other shit. And but no, he's a really great guy. He is part of a business that collects memorabilia, buys memorabilia. He has a warehouse. And so I reached out to him and I was like, hey, listen, we have this show. Can you contribute in some kind of way? And he goes, actually, yeah, I can. And So he starts
He
sending.
lays down a full stack of cards.
He
right?
does. He
Oh my
he
God.
sent me. He starts sending me all of these photos of these original autographed, band members and everyone from an original, Nirvana.
They're amazing.
Yeah, it's.
They're ones that when they touch your hand, you don't want to let them go. Once I touched them, I'm like, man.
Yeah, he's like, I can't let that.
I'm gonna lose all my money bidding on this thing, man.
I've been eyeballing that Iggy Pop when I'm a Stooges fan, so I was like,
Iggy Pop, there might not be very many bidders on that, So that's the other thing. But then you gotta,
There's 2 of them.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. It's so it's Iggy Pop, it's Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, the full band Nirvana, not the 4-member band.
Yeah,
Nirvana, but,
Dave.
Oh,
Grohl,
including
Kurt and
I can't
Chris.
remember.
Pat.
Is it Pat?
Pat.
I think it is Pat. Is the other dude that?
Can't think of his last name.
Yeah, he's in there, and but he's not on that. He's not in the picture either. But Rolling Stones, full band.
Full band.
Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, his full
Stan
band.
Lee. I might have to fight for that
Stan
one.
Lee, yeah.
Stan
Yeah.
Lee, yeah. The Simpsons original voice cast.
Yeah.
Um,
Was that 10?
10.
But yeah, all original, they're not copied, they're not photocopied, they're actually signed, by the artists
some of those-
themselves. So
Some of them Nirvana ones I've seen go for high dollar.
$1,800 to $2,000, a lot of people are paying for originals.
now you guys know where the starting bid is.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
We got to make it, affordable for
accessible
accessible
for people.
for our area.
Mason says Pat Smear.
Pat Sphere. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not Pap Sphere. Pat.
Which actually, I think if he was in it, it probably wouldn't be worth as much. If he was in the photo and signed it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's weird how that works. The guy did mention he might drop a Prince.
Yeah, he did say that he was gonna get
Signed.
his hands on a couple of signed Prince photos as well, and asked us if we wanted one, and said that he would be more than happy to support in any future shows, just to give him a shout, let him know if we needed more, and he'd be happy to give. So.
Speaking of, and I feel awful because I cannot remember his name. We had him on the show, the guy that does the artist
Matt.
that does the paintings, Matt.
Matt
Yeah,
Miller.
Matt Miller.
Fuck,
Yeah.
Matt Miller. Yes.
We have 2 of his paintings.
Yes.
It's one of those things, man. It's like, I really like that,
Yeah.
I end up spending more on that than we made on the show, and so we got one from the pub, and she's bartending in it, and it's a great one. I can't remember what band that is in the pub, and then we got one that's in the music hall, and I think that was Romexis or something.
Yes.
We got that one. I
Yep.
wanted to get the core.
Yep.
One, but it was gone before I even got
Yeah.
to see it finished. Someone bought
The
it.
one of Remexis is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're in our living room.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna outbid everybody because I want that Nirvana picture.
Yeah.
I really want that Tom Petty one too, and I think one of my aunts. A lot of people want.
I'm sorry.
Well, a lot of people want to bid online, but you can't. You have to be there in
You have
person.
to be there. That's fair.
Have to be at the show. You can
There's
win tickets.
also a base giveaway, I believe I read. Did I misread that?
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
there is. We're actually
It's a dean.
well, the one in the picture is not, because we were trying to decide whether or not we were going to do the dean or not, and then the other one's a Jackson Flying V,
Yeah, the Jackson
like the
Flying
guitar.
V.
Oh, that's so
Not
cool.
sure. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what model that is.
Yeah,
So
we
it
looked it
could
up,
be
we're not.
it could be the higher dollar model, or the kind of basic one, but I don't think it is the.
That was I think that wasn't that one that we got from. It was
That's the Walt Disney.
Disney.
the
Yeah,
Disney
as a
kid.
guy that works at Disney, he's like a part of the marketing team. And
Dude, he gave us a bunch of guitars, all really nice.
He gave us
Sorry, excuse me.
probably
Playing
about
footsie with me
$6,000.
Yes,
sir.
And guitars and instruments and amps.
Yeah, he did. He donated some
Yeah.
stuff. We teach the electric program on the guitar cabinet that he donated. We gave away a bunch of guitars. One of them was like a mini, like Jackson, and we gave it to it was like 5 and an 8-year-old. two brothers that play rocksmith on like.
Oh yes, yeah.
So it fit them, and like so they already like had a need for an electric that was. So that's the hard part is finding also, because we deal with new players, right? So instruments like this Jackson, that someone donated, they weren't like, hey, give this to a kid. They were just like, do what you can with what I'm donating, right? And so trying to find kids who can play good enough to have like a Jackson that's not going to end up like left on a porch.
Right, not some of these are not starter
yeah
starter guitars.
Yeah, absolutely.
For instance, one of the kids who Bilbo
Yes.
taught our electric class, he volunteered to teach electric at the Warrior when we were doing it there for TLMC, which is now PACT. That kid, we let him learn on kind of like a basic guitar. And then a guy in town, he wants to go buy Uncle Metal, and he's also doing like glass blowing now too. He was going to be there, but his glass thing messed up. Now he can't be there at the show. But he donated a Kramer, and
nice.
Yeah, we had that, and I think we had that Telecaster thing y'all donated, and another guitar, and so different models, so that whatever he felt fit him, because he graduated that class.
He took our first course too. He took the acoustic.
He did. He took our
so
he had never played guitar until he came
and
with
loved
us.
it so much that as soon as we announced the program for the electric, he was the first one to sign up. So and he was one of those kids would be there
from nothing
every
to the 12-bar blues to playing electric, and then to having his own first badass Kramer electric guitar donated to him. I mean, he was loving it. And then another kid we donated to, I think you just heard from his mom.
You're talking about Raymond Isham.
Yes.
No, we donated an amp to him. His mom got him an electric guitar for Christmas.
That's right. So we got him an amp.
She sent me a video, and it was so funny. He sees obviously this is a guitar wrapped up, right? So he rips it open, and his mouth is just gaping wide open. He had so many other presents he hadn't opened. He immediately took that guitar and the amp and went out on his porch, plugged in, and started playing. That was it. She said his mom said he wasn't even interested in any of the other. Yeah, that was whatever.
He actually got a scholarship. He did our first classic guitar, so no guitar in his hand ever to. I think actually he did get hold of a guitar. His family.
No, he was a percussionist. That's
right.
What he did prior to. He was a percussionist.
So no guitar, and then he took it off and ran with it, and so we actually awarded him a scholarship because our program was ending to go to wherever was closest to his home that was comfortable. I think it ended up being Music Lessons Express, where he went, and that place is cool. They teach them individual instruments,
and then rock band,
and then let them if they're teaching a bass player and they're teaching a guitar player, they let them meet and then let them all jam together.
Jam sessions,
so it's
figuring
how cool
out
is
how
that,
to
that's awesome. But it's on the other side of town, so it's kind of hard for kids on our side, which is actually the poorest zip code in the country.
In Florida.
In Florida. I think it's the country, actually. It might. Somebody can fact check that in the comments. But
304.
yeah, so having access to these things in that particular zip code,
yes,
not to exclude anyone else, but usually the other zip codes can make it to that zip code, and so where we were out there was kind of perfect for that, but we were still missing out on the, because public transportation couldn't get you there, so the need for the charity lessons kind of, like we said, started outgrowing the need for the stage, because there's stages there and the bands were kind of there, so that's where we kind of started leaning this way, and we were hoping to get a building by now. We were looking at a real cool one, and it was expensive, $500,000, for a building that can house something like what we do. And, we've started with the grants little by little, due to her expertise.
I think my first
So you
grant
start
was
small,
$1,500.
and you prove that, hey, we're worthy of this money, and then you get one a little bigger and a little bigger. So now that we've, she's gotten a few that are in around $20,000, and I think this last one was the biggest one. So we've proven that, with very little we can make a large impact. So imagine us getting that $75,000 one.
Absolutely.
That people scam.
Well, and
Leon
with
County,
the data that we have collected through the programs that we've run, because that's really a big part of the grants as well, is they want you to collect data. They want to see results, like measurable results, qualitative and quantitative results. And something that our data has shown us over and over again is that the need is way more than the resources that are available for it.
Yeah.
And so that's the only kind of sad part, downside / upside to what we do, is that, clearly we are meeting a need. There is a demand for it. But every time we run these campaigns for classes or for free instruments or whatever program it is that we're offering, we never have enough resources to be able to offer every kid who applies, to be a part of that program. And so that's, like I said, it's disheartening, but it really just goes to show that what we're doing is needed. And I really think that that's why we get the support that we do, from the state, from the city, from the county, and from the community, because, clearly these kids want this. They want these programs. They want to be a part of it. So,
what's important with like the nonprofit world, I'm all about taxation as theft. I'm all about it. I hate government taking money from me because they waste it, right? But a program like ours, you could donate money to ours. It's a tax write-off. Where that money's going. It's staying in our community and going to our community, and so that side of it is, where I would obviously love to see, if you could check off a box on your taxes that you're going to pay at the end of the week, like, would you like to see this go to your community for these arts programs or doctors or scientists or
Definitely.
responders? You got to vote. Or do you want to see it go over there and make bombs and hey, everybody would be like, no, I want to fund my community, or I want to fund the doctors and scientists and first responders in my community.
I live in the country and I want better kids in the city.
It's crazy. So like something like this is so important like that to me on just that aspect, is that I get to see my money and my effort go back to our community, and I get to see some of that tax money actually go back to our community.
Absolutely.
See that it does in fact go to, the kids and stuff like that, and that's where she gets passionate and she cries all the time.
Oh, I do. It's ridiculous.
God, she cries.
No,
when she talks to people, she cries.
I think I've seen you cry.
Cries because she's so passionate about it. It's because kids are involved.
It's those emails that you get from the parents, that are just, it kills me. Like some of the stories, like whenever you're doing a submission, we want you to include like a little bio about your kiddo. Why do you want them to participate, what is their interest? Do they have, prior history? And some of these stories that you hear from these parents that are like, they're just absolutely they tug at your heartstrings. They're, very sad sometimes. And, but, the emails that we get once these kids go through our programs, they also make me cry. Tears of joy, when I hear from a parent who says, my kiddo has decided that he is going to go to college and that he's going to study music and he is going to make a career out of it. And that just, it gets me every time. Like it's those emails, that really keeps me going. And like I said, the whole process of getting grants and just all the back end work that has to go into it, those emails
it's
make
so hard to put up with her when she's going through all that stuff.
Yeah.
God,
I cry at commercials though sometimes too. I'm like, what a great ad.
Oh, well, the crying is easy to deal with. It's when she's having to do that whole back end side of everything. Because like she said, what was that earlier?
Qualitative.
I was going to say we need to bust out the dictionary in here for some of the folks in me. But she deals with that side, and her background being around downtown and working with legislative stuff and nonprofit world and everything, like the way we kind of collided together, it just kind of mashed real well. And like I had already started talking about doing the nonprofit side of it and the performing arts center side of it, and she was like, oh, I love music, and that's how we met. And then found out that she was also familiar with nonprofit stuff and like all these other things, and I'm like, oh wow, what a great little, she had Photoshop on her computer, so I would be like Can I
come
use
over to
this?
my house.
Can I use
I need
this
a
to make
logo.
a flyer for like? Oh yeah, my logo for the when I was changing locations.
Yep.
Is when we really met, and
Yep.
she helped me design the Clottney River Music Festival.
Yeah, I marketed
worked
for
on
that thing
all
for
of that
9
together.
months, and then it was during Hurricane Michael.
Yeah, the
so,
hurricane hit that
yeah,
week.
Everything
it was
got
that
canceled.
weekend. Yeah, the hurricane hit that week. Dude, we lost like $8,000. It was like our grand opening, basically.
Yeah.
We got everything working where we could finally do this. And man, we had a great lineup. Blackfoot, like,
We had over 50 bands.
oh my God, hip hop, all the hip hop artists in town. Like, I had a giant mesh, right? And we sank everything into it. Printed laminates.
Oh, God,
Like,
we had so many. We had so many good sponsors too. We had so many people around town that
oh yeah, everybody
sponsored.
everybody.
Music
The whole
Lessons
community came together for
Express
that.
and
Man, that dude, the hurricane wrecked us. You know.
Ruin the Roof. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. So recovering from that, and then it was we got you know, we had to be a nonprofit for so long to become a performing arts center and stuff like that, and we had our inspection to be the performing arts center. We passed it, right?
Awesome.
And at 5 p.m. that day, they shut us down for COVID.
Wait,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they did what?
They shut us down for COVID.
Yeah.
The day
Mother.
we passed our inspection.
We're like, yes, we could do
to
it.
go
Oh.
from beer and wine,
Right.
you know, and having, because we would get like temporary licensing for certain events so that we could have like liquor. Oh man, I got in trouble for that.
Oh boy.
I don't know if we should,
No.
yeah, we probably shouldn't talk
Yeah.
Save it for later, man.
Damn
So
government.
one, I thought this was kind of funny, and Alicia, you're welcome to chime in on this. Alicia posted a Facebook post about a bass giveaway,
Yes.
and just fucking without thinking about it, I just liked the post and kept going, right. And an hour or two later, Alicia's like, Rob, are you giving this away? And I was like, oh, fuck. And I went back and unliked it, of course, right? But yeah, I really feel like an asshole.
Well, no, you're totally fine. I was just wondering if it was for you or if you're trying to win
Nope.
it for someone or
Nope. Just liked it and wanted, not even thinking about. I didn't really fully read. She said
Nobody ever does.
to enter into the contest, like, comment, or
Share.
or
Yeah, you
like
do.
like, comment. And
Yeah.
so I just like the post, not really even thinking. And that's whenever Alicia kind of knocked on my door a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's awkward.
I was like, oh, are you learning to play the bass now? Or what's going on with that? You need one? You need one?
I mean, I do, but no, not through this this venue. No, absolutely not. No. Yeah.
I'm only down to I think nine basses. I think.
Only down to 9.
Yeah, I got my 5 strings out on loan.
You gotta start playing again. Gigging out. I started talking to Dustin Blake. He's been approaching me about playing, one of my other buddies. And
Oh, will you please?
I started talking to Roger Gorham. Him and I go ride bikes, and we played in a band together. And I think he's talking about doing some. And he's a great songwriter. He was the first person I ever played with where I wasn't playing my songs, right? So I learned someone else's music. And man, he's a great songwriter. He did 2 songs, Not Yours Anymore, and I think he wants to record Sunday Drive. That I'm telling you, this song Not Yours Anymore is like, I'm like, man, that's a big one. And if they start gigging, I might actually go apply for a job with them playing out with Soul Creek again. It'd be pretty cool.
I'm a huge fan of Dustin Blake.
Are you?
Yeah. I love the dude and just respect everything he does.
Let's
Right.
try a little. He actually say about doing a little country ditty. He would
See,
like to
I'd be all about it. I would be all
Imagine
about
metal
it.
Country. I think that's the new.
They got
It's gonna
country
be the
hip
new
hop, so they
crossover.
might as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be the new crossover.
Yeah.
Metal country.
Sure, why not?
I will be at your first show. I will be there.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Super distorted banjos and shit. Or is that more bluegrass? That'd be more bluegrass, I think.
Man, so
Yeah.
funny. We just watched that movie CBGB. It's like I don't know if y'all seen that one.
Nope.
Is that what it's called?
CBGB.
is the name of the
Is
movie.
that after the venue?
Yes.
It's after the venue. It's
Yeah.
like the story of Hilly Crystal.
Hilly.
It's not Billy. It's
Hilly Crystal.
Crystal, and how he wanted to be country bluegrass blues, is what he wanted at his club.
Yeah.
When I opened on Pensacola Street, I wanted to be Bradfordville Blues Club in town.
Yeah.
You know, and I opened up wanting to do blues, did a couple blues shows. No one came. You know, and I'm like, fuck. You know, and did one of those. Some kids want to do a hardcore metal show with EDM. You know, so it was like EDM but hardcore metal in between. Like, so it was a DJ,
Okay.
a Kill the Keg,
Okay.
hardcore metal. And then we opened up. I held like, I think capacity of 299. There was like 400 kids in there, and I mean they're like, sold like $8 in alcohol. And I let them have the door because I was just kind of like, oh, you know, yeah, if you can have the door if you know you bring people in, this and that. And I had no idea that it was like straight edge kids. And dude, you talking about holes in my walls, like a body went through the drywall, and like it was crazy, you know. But then I kind of worked it out with them how, you know, we could all make a little bit, but my bartenders hated it, you know, because it was just water, you know. But ended up doing those, and so then I ended up being, you know, in that genre, you know, which if the choice was EDM or deathcore metal, I'll pick deathcore metal, you know, or EDM. But I was stuck with EDM and metal for, God, I don't know how many years, man, because there were like no bands in town other than, you know, metal and, you know, there were some rock bands, but not like there is now, because all the college kids were into EDM, you know. And that's where, when I saw these kids also starting to play a little bit of riffs, you know, and they were in high school, like Joe in Retrograde. I think he was like 15 or 16 when he first came out. Playing in Local Forecast, I think is what they were called.
Local Forecast.
And it was like, oh my God, this kid's ripping people's faces off with like classic rock solos, you know, like kids like music again. Like, we've got to support this, you know, like I don't want to see the damn DJ tables come out ever again, you know, like we will shove guitars in everyone's hands to eliminate EDM, you know. And that's like, it's like where I'm at, you know. I'm an
I was
EDM
up in the
genocide
office
guy.
when I first heard them play, actually, and the windows were blocked out. It was in the music hall, and you know, I'm obviously a huge Led Zeppelin fan.
You like come down like Hilly
I
Crystal.
did. No, I
like,
did. I did. I was
there.
up there like working on the books or working on something, and oh God, I can't remember what song it was. Maybe Since I've Been Loving You. I can't remember which Led Zeppelin song it was they started playing, but I immediately, I was like, whoa, like who's doing this? And I come downstairs and no one's on the floor. There's a few people around the bar, and I immediately just stood right there in front of them. I'm looking at this 15-year-old kid shred Zeppelin, you know, and I'm like,
amazing.
oh my God, you know, and it blew my mind. I mean, when they first started, they had like horns and brass instruments and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they
in the
did
band.
when they first started.
There was like 9 people in the band.
Forecast, it was awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
but I was very impressed.
Retrograde's awesome, but it was really cool. And they had a song On a String or something like that always got me.
Believe it or not, he used to be shy, you know.
He did. Now he's a confident
Joey.
young man rock star. You know?
Yep. I remember getting that first photo shoot of him, and you know, they're standing outside the venue, and I couldn't even get him really to look at the camera. He kept looking down or looking over, and
59th with per capita income of 16,000.
What?
Mason fact checked us there.
What?
What does he say there?
Which one, right here?
We'll have to let Alicia read that because
I can't read. I'm blind.
It says.
I cannot read that.
Oh, you hit it.
Of the 67 counties in Florida, Gadsden ranks 59th with a per capita income of $16,843.
Oh, so it's not even in the worst in Florida anymore.
Nice, way to go, Gadsden.
Yeah, that's probably because of our performing arts programs. You're welcome. That's how
It
important
says
we are.
Gadsden is poor shit.
Gadsden, well.
Hey, Jeremy, we have a video.
We do, and Mason is in a lot of the video. Thank
I
you.
love Thunder the Snakes videos, man.
Yes, definitely go to Thunder the Snake and like, share, subscribe, all their shit. They are a lot of fun.
I think they have a TikTok out. Thunder
I think
the
they
Snake
do,
does have
yeah.
a TikTok.
Do they?
Yeah.
I think so.
They're definitely a band worth keeping up with. Honestly, the way I noticed them when I first approached them about wanting to do shows with them was because of how they were promoting their show. They were doing something, I think Giblet. It might have been that one at the Moon.
Yeah.
You know, and I just noticed that all those bands that were on that show, I noticed Thunder the Snake promoting, you know, and doing a great job. you know. And I was like, man, wow, like I would love to do some stuff with these guys. Like, surely we can get people out, you know. And they do a great job, you know.
Yeah.
And those videos they made with the Santa,
Oh my God.
they're great,
Kyle.
you know. I'm like, we could share this to raise money.
He's addicted to cheese balls. You
Cheese
know,
balls.
so yeah, he's got a cheese ball problem.
Oh, man.
He wasn't on the show last week.
Cheese balls?
No, I'm good.
He wasn't on the show last week, so there still
Those
is a
get
few
all over
left.
my sweatpants.
Yeah, got about 2 weeks
Alicia?
before I start feeding
Oh, I'm
those.
good.
Would you like some
I'm
cheese
good on
balls?
the cheese
We got
balls.
How
got-
many hands have been in that? In that?
2 last
Yeah, only 2. So far.
That's a lot. This
Shane,
is
Mason,
too.
and Buck.
Yeah, so 3.
Oh, they were in here
Yeah.
lunching.
I forgot Buck's stuck
So yeah, you actually might want to tape that thing shut and
I
bury it.
actually rolled the dice on a chicken salad sandwich from the gas station
Yeah,
on the way out here. Those little dandy sandwiches.
I'm glad you're sitting in here, not in the back.
Yeah. We actually had a conversation with our family this weekend about those and like how
Okay.
a bad one can ruin you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Not stale.
No.
Good.
I mean, they're only a week old.
You know the
Oh, it was just Shane and Mason. They fed Buck by hand. They held out their little hand and
You gotta do it flat.
he lipped them up.
Buck's got a cool job
Like a horse.
working at the
Proof.
proof.
Yeah.
Walked in and some dude like was doing some scientific shit in there, man. It's like science.
Oh no, it is science.
You would never think how much science is involved in things like
There's
that.
a head scientist himself right there. The only man with his own sound on the soundboard.
Pew pew pew.
That's right. He says that's how
He
they do
just
it.
donated a Yamaha acoustic electric. This is the cutout. He carved his name in it, and it's missing one little like tuning peg, but we're gonna get it worked on, and it's got a thin neck for like a beginner.
Oh, good.
But it's one that if a kid graduates the classical guitar class, they would be ready for this guitar. In a sense, if they're top of class type thing.
Starting out on classical, man, that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's because the nylon.
The
strings are
nylon
soft
strings
on
are
the
so
fingers.
unforgiving.
Yeah,
I mean, acoustic guitar inherently is unforgiving, but especially those nylon strings, yeah. Even more so.
they're nice. That's why they say to start everybody on those. The neck is just so big on it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Playing a bat.
yeah, it's like, geez, you know.
See, would that be the same for bass? Because acoustic basses are ridiculous.
We have an acoustic bass that someone donated. It's just, dude,
About 4.5 foot wide.
we don't ever have kids come and be like, hey, I want to learn bass. You know, like it's so rare. And that's why I was like, us getting a facility is really, I think, going to be imperative to the community just because things like creating bass players, you know, for our community.
We
Like,
need 'em.
We need them, you know, and like, so having somewhere where they can come in and pick up different instruments and maybe be like, oh, wow.
Not to mention
I actually really like this,
the
you know?
drummers, having a space where they can go and make
make
as
noise.
much noise as they fucking want to.
Yeah.
We're actually getting a drum program up and going as well. We finally found a volunteer for it. Jeremy
Yep.
Watson,
Yep.
Worm.
Worm.
From Core, yeah, he
yep.
decided that he wanted to volunteer his time and he wanted to pass on the knowledge. And as soon as I saw him make that post,
That is
I
so
reached
cool.
out immediately and was like, "Hey, let's do this. Let's get it going. Like, we're going to start simple. We're going to get the kids drum pads just to start.
Absolutely.
We already have a couple of. They're not complete sets, so we have to get some pieces and parts for them. But we do have a couple of sets, so we are looking for
We have
donations
2
right
sets,
now.
but because we already homed a whole set that we had pieced it together, and actually even at I think one of the last shows we pieced a set together and donated it to one of the. It might have been that high school band. I think we donated some stuff to the fetish.
No, we also took.
Oh, no, it was bass stuff we donated
we
to
also
the
took
fetish.
a set out to RFM.
Oh,
Robert
that's
F.
what it
Monroe.
was.
Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we took a drum set out.
I want to talk to you after the show. I couldn't teach anybody how to play a guitar, but I just want to see what you might have available. Just to talk about it. See,
Yeah.
see what you have.
Are you looking for
Absolutely.
guitar lessons?
Yeah, what are you?
So anyway,
Jeremy,
How about
my
hip-hop dance?
mom told me not to say anything if you can't say anything nice.
I
I'm not going to respond to your bullshit.
I was talking to a hip hop artist about laying down some bass tracks. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Always some low end.
I've always played like rock and metal bass and blues, but
Lots of low end. That
Yeah.
studio in town, Goldie Sound Productions, Adrian, he's got the ear for that genre of music, man. He's got his finger on the pulse, you know. Places happening in that world. You know? The local hip hop community is like huge.
we haven't heard from any of them. They need to hit us up.
Well, then again, we haven't really reached out.
I used to do.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
We maybe a little bit, but we have not done our due diligence.
Yeah, you got to reach out
diligence.
to
Adrian
Goldie Sound
Dickey.
Productions
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they do a mixer there. Where I mean, dude.
Yeah, great place to be.
It's
Great
packed,
networking
you know,
opportunity.
and it is nothing but local artists. I mean, there'll be 100 of them. They're crammed in this little studio, and you know, he's showing off artists. You know, they'll pay to get their video played or pay to do a little
Nice.
thing. But
He also has some really great guest speakers too, like people who come down from Atlanta,
Yep.
different producers, different marketers, people who've been a part of the industry for a while to kind of just help guide, you know,
Yeah, like-
up and coming artists. Hey, I have this. What do I do? Or,
serious,
you
people
know.
come down. In that
Yeah,
world,
so he
you know.
worked at out of a studio in Atlanta for a long time, and I think he is actually Pro Tools certified as well. And he loves working with youth. He was on our board for a little while
I did.
and helped us get programs going at LRJDC at the Regional Detention Center. Came out there, you know, evaluated what we needed. We had to update all the computer systems with new RAM to support the software that we needed. And he was a part of that whole process, making sure we had all the equipment that we needed so that each station could be its own little studio. So he's definitely about helping to support the youth, and just all around, just great guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
definitely reach out to Adrian.
Absolutely.
They're good, and then there's VHS as well, Very High Society. He does like VHS, and he's got a little. They're actually both next to each other. It's Mahan and Miccosukee.
Okay.
I think that's what it's where that that little Tiffany's lunchbox thing is.
Yeah.
VHS is across the street from it, kind of behind that head shop.
Okay.
Next to the railroad track.
Oh, where that
Yeah.
tattoo shop is.
Where the tattoo shop is kind of behind, I think, the lunchbox place.
Yeah.
That's where Adrian's place is down there behind that. Like you pull in.
Damn.
and you pull down behind. He's got a studio down there, and they'll do shows out back sometimes.
I had no idea there was a studio there.
Yeah, and that's I would say that in the hip hop world, that is the studio in town that is like the most professional you're gonna get. You know, and like it is like people come down. You know, as if somebody comes from Atlanta to record there.
Damn.
You know, like so. I mean,
From
it's,
Atlanta?
yeah. So
Wow.
it's like if you got that up there, welcome there. You know, Prince recorded here with George Clinton. Y'all know that?
Did not know that.
Not surprising.
Prince was here with George Clinton. They tried. I don't know what song, but Tallahassee's got it going on, man, and that's why I think it's like it would be important to
Cultivate that.
You know, somebody recently posted on the Tallahassee subreddit talking about there's no local music scene, and I was like, dude, what the fuck
Dude,
are you talking about?
I had people tell me that I did it from 2011 to 2023. I had a live music venue here in town.
Yeah,
I think Floyd's closed maybe 2010.
something like that. Yep.
There was not a big gap.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, in Big Daddy's, and I was like, I love Rob at Big Daddy's, man. He let me play there all the time, and like it was fun, and so it was that gap where me and a buddy were like, oh, we could do it, like we could do this, so we swung the bat at it, man, and I forget where I was going with that. It's been such a long road. Oh yeah, and people being like, oh, there's no live music here.
Yeah.
I wish it was like Floyd's, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, I did a ton of the same bands when we first started. I did Nonpoint,
Yep.
and it was packed, like all the way to Earl Dibbles Jr., Granger Smith. And then recently we saw that the Revivalists are coming to the amphitheater. I did them the night after they won a huge thing in New Orleans as like a local band.
Damn.
They came and played it. I think it was when I was Atmosphere, maybe episodes, but they came and played, and dude, that was like one of their last I saw in an article that they just wrote too on like the Democrat playing like dive bars or like hell hole dive bars or something like that. I was like, that was me. That was me in Tallahassee. I was that guy that y'all came and played for, man. And like they'll never be back in a venue that size. And Granger Smith was the same way, man. He came in and like right kind of he was already starting to peak when he came in, you know, and never be back, you know, to a club that size, you know. It's pretty cool to see that stuff. I was thinking of, you know, speaking of bands like and giving instruments, This Dying Breed, they started off as Trigger Clutch.
Okay.
At my club, and they were the baby band back then, right?
Yep.
I mean, like young as shit, you know, like high school, you know. And they came in, and Gary, the drummer, had some fucked up drum set, you know. And I was just like, man, you know what? I got a kick drum at home that's just been sitting in a closet, you know, taken care of. That I'm never going to use it. And I gave him a bunch of stuff that I was just like, here. And that was like one of the first, you know, processes of me giving to a younger musician. And since then, which I mean was 2012, man, it was a long time ago, 2012, 2013, like, you know, I end up acquiring stuff because people leave stuff on the road and things like that. I gave guitar stands to Michael Nix in that band and a couple other bands. Like, I always try and give to the younger bands, and so that's what's important is, like, you know, like Buck giving that guitar and, like, other guys in town who have come up and donated stuff, you know, because they're getting older and they want to see the younger musicians, you know, and we've got to invest in them, especially even, you know, ones the age, False Chase age, you know, like
yes.
they're still in that age group where we still need to foster them and like
wow,
encourage
yes.
them in the right way, like, hey, be in this environment. But,
perfect
you know,
verb.
Thank you.
use some discipline, man. Landon is a great songwriter.
Yes, he is.
But I was thinking about on how many young musicians, you know, have approached me when I was in the venue, and I think it was the Fetish guys. You know, like one of them, like a little Reddit group. They were like wanting to plan something like, oh, we're gonna fuck that place up after we play tonight, blah 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 blah. And like someone sent me that as they were loading out, and dude, I lost my shit. Like I lost my cool, and I haven't lost my cool in a long time. But like I was like, you know, what the fuck is this? And I know one of the kids' father really well, actually, Joey Badia, you know, and I messaged him. I'm like, bro, this is your kid's band, you know. He's like, oh, that's fucked up, you know, this and that, and you know, I started yelling at him, and some of the kids from the Fetish came in because it wasn't the Fetish, it was the other band. They were like, listen, that wasn't us, bro. Like, we love this place. Like, he's like, I went to one of my first shows at 11 years old at your old place on Pensacola Street, and like I grew up wanting to play this stage, you know, like I ain't fucking this up, you know. And like I was like he told me that, I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Don't they actually, one of those kids go to RFM? Because I think I
one of the
teach.
kids does, but he's not in that band anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. Some of them
back
still in
when
high
I first
school.
started teaching at RFM.
So it's like another generation. So now this is another generation that from just me running the stage in town. So it's like, so how can someone, bringing it back to where we were, how can someone say in town, I wish there were places that where the music scene's dead, you know, or
right.
like this and that. It's like, dude, you're dead to the music scene.
Yep.
Like, wake the fuck up, you know, look around you. There's a ton of clubs in town doing live music now, you know. Like, I was like, damn, like, there's a ton of competition now all of a sudden. That bands are back. People want to do bands instead of supporting EDM.
There are people that will do lists of clubs with live music. I mean, it's a long
there's
goddamn list.
A couple people in town that do that.
Yeah.
There's a lady that does that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Does really well.
Yes.
I wish I can remember her name.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's escaping me right now too.
Yeah,
I've seen
plug
him.
her.
But,
Yeah.
And then Jose Rodriguez, he does a little post where he's like, hey, where's the live music night? And the older crowd does real well with that. Mike Lanigan, I see, of the Alley Cats, shares stuff all the time for people. Kathy Martin shares stuff. I think I see Mike Lanigan's always talking with people. It's like, hey, if you want to join the group that, you know, helps share each other's stuff, like when he's talking to other bands, you know, he's like, you know, you share ours, we'll share yours. You know,
I
like,
mean, that makes sense.
yeah, it's the
It
way
really
to
makes sense.
way to beat the algorithm is,
Just flood it.
it's the cover band guys. They
Yeah.
stick together and they do good marketing each other, sharing each other. And now I see that Shane and Andrew, like Legacy, are helping share stuff with the sound bar, which I went and helped consult with them about sound stuff, that's a new place they're trying to do or are doing at Old Bainbridge and Tharp. There's a gas station. They're like right next to the gas station. There's like a food truck and like
Oh,
used to be a
right. Yep.
limo tent and like car detail and like the lemonade stand used to be out there. They're in that building that's like right there.
Oh, okay.
And I think that they're going to do pretty good. They're nice people. Love the music community in town.
Yeah.
Leaning more karaoke side of the music community, like people who like to go sing karaoke and enjoy cover bands and stuff like that, but want to support the original artists as well. But they're coming in from that kind of angle of the community, and I think that they will do well. And they want to do stuff with like charity groups to help raise money for things, since it's alcohol. Everybody knows alcohol can be a negative thing. So things like what we do can be can be very positive.
Says you. Yeah.
It
It makes me a hell of a dancer.
So any dollar you can raise for charity off selling a beer, to me, is better than going to someone's pocket, like for profit, and especially if it's going back to the community and not going to, the government, and stuff like that to waste on other things.
But we do love you, though, Department of State Division
We
of
do love the,
Arts and Culture.
Florida-
Thank you so much for supporting us.
the Department of State of the Florida Division of Arts and Culture,
Yeah.
right? No, the endowment of
I think you're talking more on a federal level. The guys that actually can't authorize sending
everybody's
bombs to the
income
Middle
that
East,
was taken,
We have a video.
We do have video. We do have video.
Are you going to play a video?
Yeah.
Real quick. Oh, yeah. Disclaimer on this video. So I make the videos. If anybody don't like the videos, you can email me directly, because I love a good email.
Is this a Thunder to the Snake video?
No. This is the
one you made, or you
P.A.C.T.
dressed up?
I'm not dressed. Yeah, I'm not dressed
So
up.
you're
I'm
trying to
in
compete
it.
with Thunder the Snake?
I'm in it for a
They're
second.
intimidating.
Thunder the Snake is in it. Trial by Stone is in it. The Fetish is in it.
Nice.
I think Rockadillions.
Rockadillions
Yes.
are in it.
I think they're the
I think
youngest.
Satin
So
is in it.
Rockadillions is going to be the youngest band on this. Although Richard
They are the
Burke's,
12 plus.
Yeah, Richard Burke's son.
Kyron? Is it Kyron? Chiron?
Yeah, he may be the youngest. I'm not sure. So that would make
I think
Dave's Last Night the youngest band on the stage. This
full of old dudes.
full of old dudes, but they're young at heart.
Yep, and they will be on Friday. We'll be seeing them
Yes.
Friday.
Yes.
Is Big Dave coming with them?
Yes.
Oh,
He'll be in studio.
y'all better make some room in here.
I
now.
know, right?
All these people. in
He's
here.
stuffed in here before. He'll be right. So yeah, Rob, you want to count us in?
Welcome to Off the Record Music Show.
So,
We will totally be your bottom bitch, though.
yeah, as long as you're a power bottom, I'm good.
December 9th, see him live.
Like, James Hetfield knows everything, just some prepubescent boys.
Makes sense.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it?
What's going on with the show?
This Saturday, December 9th. It is a charity show for PACT. That's P.A.C.T. You're welcome to go check them out as well. December 9th, Legacy. I've got notes this time. Saturday, December 9th, Legacy at the Riverfront. Christmas Rock Show at Legacy.
I mean, we all have special needs, but not the kind that like are medically diagnosed.
Comes full circle.
That's just my face. Everyone about
So
that.
number one, David Lee Roth named Van Halen.
They wrote better songs with Sammy Hagar.
Did they though?
You will definitely meet him December 9th.
Yep.
At the P.A.C.T. show.
Yeah, it's $10.
Give me your script.
December 9th.
See you guys December 9th. Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Saturday, December 9th
September 8th.
at Legacy at the Riverfront.
This is god awful. Done.
Speaking of not able to sleep, don't sleep on December 9th.
That's right.
The PACT Christmas Rock and Roll Festival
That's right.
at Legacy on the river, at the riverfront. I always get the names mixed up.
See you December 9th.
Come on down December 9th, see 14 of the finest bands in all the Southeast region rock your fucking face off all the way to Elf Syndrome and Christmas Day. Bless.
Say Elf Syndrome.
I don't know what it is. What are you gonna do about it? Fuckers, listen here. Y'all gonna play this music. Y'all stop talking about all that bullshit. Y'all get in there and get fed before they close their kitchen. And if you can't make it, you know what you can do? You can go show your support and donate at www.pact.charity. You're welcome. Don't forget to check us out December 9th, 2023 at Legacy at the Riverfront.
I literally finished. Oh,
Hey, and we are back.
Oh, I hope they like that.
And speaking of, Richard Burke, I would like to mention, from the beginning, how important going to shows and making connections is. Is that a dick pic?
It's a dick pic.
It is a dick pic.
It's an
I
unsolicited
have a
dick
dick pic at home.
They're giving out free dick pics to the first lucky
20
people at
Yeah.
the door. Yep. And I think that's Cue the
Muses.
Yeah.
You're the Muses.
Man, their videos are awesome.
Yes.
But the importance of coming out to a show like this and making connections is I mentioned back in the Floyd's days when I was young, this guy at core shows, I'd be down in the pit, and this fucker would always come in, woo, woo, with his beer up like this, doing like this, man. And he'd just get it on everybody, and I knew he was doing it like fucking with people, but I loved him, and we became so close. And when I moved to that place on Pensacola Street, man, he came up there and helped me build that stage. Jake from Core came in and helped me build that stage and helped me build all kinds of stuff, like saved my ass, because they knew where my heart was and what I grew up with, and I grew up with them, Gadsden County, and it was Joey Livings and the Wild Man, Joey Wildman that would come in, and so that connection was made through those shows. And then when I moved to the new place, man, the guys came out, Despite the Irony, Defy the Tyrant guys, Joseph Hasbrook, they came out because when we first got there was only a stage in the corner. So the riverfront this whole time had this tiny ass stage. No one had ever built a real stage in there. And I was like, this ain't gonna work, I have to build a stage, and dude, people came out the woodwork to help us. Well, before that, first clean out the building. We cleaned out over 9.2 tons of actual trash. The people there before me were
that's
just
not an exaggeration.
dude, they were throwing trash out in the tiki area. That was a trash pile.
Yeah.
And they were piling it up so much in the courtyard of the tiki area in front of that stage, they filled up the walkway to each door because they just started throwing it up.
Yeah, they
Dude,
decided that they weren't going to pay for waste services.
needles,
and
condoms, just
throw
the
it near the
nasty stuff
riverbank.
flowing down towards the river because the animals getting in it, tracking around. And that's why when I got there, me and my friend walked around, we saw that, and we were like, oh my God, these people must have no idea what the condition their building is.
I know that guy.
And so I was able to get in there, and but the community came out and helped get it out, and then the bands came out. And dude, they built that stage. That stage that is standing right now was literally built with the community, of musicians.
Damn.
That is who came out. And I mean, we nailed everything down, subfloor, and we did it because everybody's carpenters, so
Apparently.
they're all all right, who's taking lead, basically, and
Who's going to be the foreman?
we went and I bought all the material. We paid for the material stuff. But, dude, they came and helped put everything together. And, I mean, we built a whole stage within, a day. And I mean a badass stage.
Yes.
And then Joey Livings came in and helped me build the front pub stage. He came in, that wild man from me going to Floyd shows and getting beer spilt on my head and being cool with the guy doing it. Led to him coming in and helping me build that whole pub stage and building that catwalk that we put I call it an ego riser, put the subs under. And, dude, so it's those bonds can be made from just going to a show as a damn 13-year-old that you just never know that the guy who comes out and spills that beer on you at this show, you know, could end up being, you know, an angel in disguise. Because I mean, dude, without those people, I would not have succeeded by any means, you know, at all, you know. And the thing over the fireplace for everybody who goes to the show, thing over the fireplace in the music hall. Jake from Core built that with me and a buddy. That's our hands traced out and cut.
Oh,
it's one with as a lighter, but we didn't got no flame, you know. But we're doing this, and it's someone crowd surfing, so it's their feet, you know. But he cut those guitars out and did the lights and stuff, and that used to hang behind the drummer on at my old place, and we put it on that fireplace. So that was built by the community. And then the tiki stage, a local guy, and his name is slipping me right now, but he donated the wood that we redid the floor, because when we got there, that tiki stage, you couldn't even walk on it. The roof was caved in. Like, we redecked the floor and redecked the roof. And then the metal, Alicia got donated from T-Spark
Travis
Enterprises.
Sparkman. Yeah,
dude. He really stepped in.
He really did. He gave us a ridiculous amount of, I think it was like $20,000 worth of metal roof material.
Yeah.
And then
that was in his warehouse. He said, dude, we move it all the time because it's just in our way. It was like pre-cut for somebody else's thing, so it's something he could never sell.
And it fell through.
But it was like 22 gauge metal. Like, I mean, a tree could fall on it and not go through it.
Yeah, I asked him why. Why he donated that. I was like, you know, $20,000 is a lot of material to donate to someone. And, you know, we featured him on the page, and he said, you know, someone, when I was younger, when I first got into business and I was struggling, someone came to me and they gave me that opportunity. They said, you know what, I'm going to help you out. And he said, so I'm looking at this, like paying it forward. He saw our article, I think in the Democrat, and the struggle that we were going through after Hurricane Michael.
The roof blowing up on us.
Yeah,
you know,
he actually reached out to us and said, hey, I want to help you guys. And I cried as usual.
Oh, you don't say.
But they came out, and then we also got, I don't know if it was a grant, but somehow we got some funds, and we were able to then afford to call them out to do another portion of the roof where we could actually like pay them to, you know, do the roof work, you know?
Right. They were the first
They actually
ones on
came
the
out
list.
this week to fix something on the roof, so it's been a good relationship. And he was, I think, a deputy or something at a time in his life, so he saw the need of the community, and, you know, like paying it forward. Like I've had people help me, and that's why I feel good helping others, you know, because it's my turn to help other people, you know, because I've had angel investors, you know, help me get in that building. Like, I mean, I had one guy, it came down to, out of everyone I had asked and every pitch I had thrown, it came down to one person, you know, and if it was a no, it would have been just, that was it. I was just out of business, you know. I got booted out of that one place, and it was over. There'd have been no music venue in town other than whatever 926 was at the time. I think House of Music was also open. He may have been open when I moved. I think he was. And it had just been them. And he helped me out. And the person who owned the building, because I showed him the pictures of the trash, which is really funny, is there was also purple paint everywhere. And when I got in the building on Pensacola Street, that same purple was in that building. And the landlord the tenant wasn't doing them right, destroying the property. So I was able to get in as a poor kid with nothing, you know. And he was like, what's the worst this kid could do? You know, is why they let me in that place on Pensacola. So then when I got booted out of Pensacola, I show up at the riverfront. It's that same color purple. The place is like being just not taken care of. Trash going in the river.
You said there was 9 tons?
We stopped counting at 9.2 tons of trash in a gooseneck trailer,
right,
hauled off to the dump, and receipts coming back.
So for anybody out there not doing the math, that's 18,000 pounds.
Dude, they never had trash service. The lady was there. So in licensing for government, you got to pass all these things to get licensing. Well, they'll issue a temp license to get started at one point to be like a 4951. You got to sell more food than alcohol. You got to be a restaurant, legit restaurant. She got that somehow. And the way she got that was also kind of weird because there were things you would have to pass to even get to there that had never been passed, you know? And so she opens full liquor, full food, and they come in 6 months and they're like, dude, you're not operating as a restaurant. This is a straight up club. You got to shut down. Got ifs. They end up having to go through the court. The state does to shut her down. They couldn't go in there.
Which
and
took years.
Yeah, dude. So I show up to look at the building, and they're open that weekend, and it is slammed because I approached her as like I was going to rent the building, to see like what was going on, and she threw me a number, and I'm kind of like, holy shit, like that's crazy, like how would you even be doing that here, but dude, parking lot full, and so I go and find the property owner, and approach them, and they were like, oh, if you can get this, we'll make it happen because they're not doing this right, and they're obviously destroying everything, and I was like, dude, I'm a poor kid from Gadsden County, this guy was really rich, still owns a building, so he's made a ton of money in his life, like he's into his days, kind of, not into his days, but just not in a position where he needs to be a bulldog, and stuff like that. And, another guy in town that I had made connection with, John Williams, that owns the bottom in Quincy, was like, just tell, he knew the owner because he had been in the building before, and he was like, just tell him who you are and that this is what you can do, and, see what he says. He's like, he's a reasonable man and he'll probably listen to you, and I was like, okay. And so I went and told him, and he was like, I'll accept that deal, and I was like, holy shit, I'm going to be the owner of the riverfront? Like, holy shit, and like, I couldn't believe it. And he let me swing the bat, man, and man, that was crazy. Where was I going with all that?
No idea.
Talking about cleaning and stuff.
Community involvement, connections,
Circle of life,
networking,
David.
circle of life.
Paying it forward, so like the guy that helped me, get into that building, did it because someone at one point had helped him, and he was like, I would love to help you, and
Also, he had
back.
nothing to lose at that point.
Who?
It was already just diminished and decaying, and
Oh yeah, the rich man that owned the property. Yeah, he was definitely. I told him, I'm like, listen, bro, like, I can assure you, within the first week, this property will be worth way more than like if I fail, you can have it back and like you'll be happy. And he was like, oh,
well, he knew that.
I believe you. But what was crazy with all that, man, we did all that. We opened, we built this stage, right? And I go to open, and someone calls me. And they're like, it's ABT, Alcohol Bureau of Tobacco or whatever. Yeah. Beverages, or I don't even remember what it is. And
another alphabet. Frank
Livingston, I remember Detective Frank, Investigator Frank, and he's like, Mr. Godwin, you can't open out there. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, I filled out the paperwork to transfer my license because I had an alcohol license. Transfer it to that address. He said that building hadn't been officially licensed since 2012. Now, this lady had been in there since 2014 to like 2018, full throttle. And I'm like, what do you mean, bro? Like, I'm just serving a keg of beer, like a beer and wine license. I'm not serving food. He told me they would come and arrest me. They would come and put me in handcuffs if I opened. And I lost my temper, and I was like, dude, I'll put up a fucking gate.
Not you.
I'll put no trespassing on it, and I'll invite my friends to bring their fucking coolers, and we'll have a damn party, and there ain't shit you can do about it. And he was like, Mr. Godwin, he's like, we can go this route. And he's like, I'm just letting you know, you ain't going to like the way it's going to end, and you are going to leave in handcuffs. And he basically told me, in a nutshell, I didn't have the same rights as that woman, and that I wouldn't get the court treatment, that they would just come in and take me, So I, of course, lost my cool, but then made friends with so many people in that realm, because they saw what we were doing, what we were trying to do, and that I was trying to correct all the problems, and that I had no idea that the building had not been licensed because people were serving food in there. When
you walked in and saw it, it looked like anything else. So
it was, by doing that, though, and by showing that when they said, you have to do this, I did it, and like the next week I'd have it done. And they're like, holy crap, this kid did this all in 1 week. Like, wow.
You don't move at government speed.
So it was like from November 2017 to, I think, fall 2018, finally got licensed to where I could like actually serve a beer as a beer and wine, like transfer my address, and that was the first time that building had been fully licensed since 2012, and then from then on, man, it was Like no one could even see what was really happening because everything behind the scenes in the building had to happen. You couldn't even turn the power on in the side that the restaurant's in, Summers is in. There was no power because someone had looted all the
I
power.
remember talking to a band, and I don't remember which band it was, but it was when you first opened, and you had to do all this electrical work, and they were telling me that they were like in the middle of playing a show, and everything just went black. Like all the power just went out. Like everything went dark in the middle of them like playing a set.
That was before we ran a bunch of new power to the stage because there was a bunch of power coming down. So we thought it's probably a couple different circuits. Not the whole building has been wired to basically 120 amp fucking
One
fuse.
breaker.
And that was because someone had looted all the power, who was gonna do good on the building, told the man who owned it that, oh, we're gonna open, you know. They sat in the attic and pulled all the copper because it was like 1960s wire, like huge gauge wire, pulled it all out, stripped it all out, and then in order to get it suitable for a tenant, they had someone come in and wire it that just threw something together, you know, to
cut a lot of corners,
get the lights on, you know. So, dude, the whole building, like that stage, we ran dedicated power under it, some dedicated power on the back, bunch of dedicated power over the ceiling, like dedicated power. Like I learned how to be an electrician, and then luckily, a neighbor of the bar, another blessing in disguise. Like where you're just one of those, you're real good to people, and you make a friend, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm an electrician, you know, that can help you out in a bind, you know, because I live down here and I don't mind helping because I see what you're doing, you know, and I like what you're doing for the community, you know. And Matt Howell and his father, I don't know if it's Howell Electric, I'm not sure the name of their business.
That is Electrical Services of Tallahassee.
Is who they are?
And his name is Mark, and he's helped me out a bunch.
Oh, there you go, his dad.
It's yeah, and it's funny. You make one Facebook post about opening your own business, and all of a sudden your business owner friends have all the help that you need.
Yeah.
So anybody out there afraid to do something good and open your own business, just fucking do it.
Yeah, swing the bat.
You'd be amazed at the people that are watching.
Sink or swim. You know?
That's what Josh Ives started Tragic.
Yeah.
That's what he did. Quit his fucking job
with the pools.
Sick of working for somebody else, and now he's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't have a pool, but I still like his business.
Oh yeah.
Help share his business.
Definitely.
You know, things like that.
Yeah, my pool's been filled in, but if I know if anybody up here with a pool,
yeah. And so that's the important thing, is that even at minimum, you know, like giving back, you think of giving back, liking someone's business post and sharing it is better than not doing anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you can't, maybe you can't go spend some money with their business. Maybe you can't do this, but at least saying things, you know, and spreading, and, you know, speaking of people like that, you know, Kurt Rogers with Black Tyrant Ants flyers, like Saving Grace, Angel in Disguise type thing, you know, not in disguise because I guess, you know, you could look at him and tell he's sculpted like an angel, you know. I forget where now. I'm just picturing Kurt. You know. Anyway, making flyers.
That'll fuck up anybody, buddy.
You know, he's done a lot to help out, and he was there helping build that stage, you know, and like do a bunch. So Kurt's done a lot, you know,
and all these flyers
that he's doing and stuff. So he's really turning that into. I hope it turns into something where like he's like, holy shit, like I can actually make a living doing this, you know, like, and I like doing it, you know. And
fucking Johnny on the spot, Kurt. We're having both Thunder the Snake and Trial by Stone on, and this was about a month or so in advance, and he had already done all the flyers. I said, hey man, can you put one together with both Thunder the Snake and Trial by Stone on it on the same flyer? And like a day later, got it.
Yeah, he's super fast about it. You know, he's great, really great,
and he gives great hugs.
He gives great hugs.
Great hugs.
Yeah,
he's
kisses.
just well-rounded.
Those good kisses too.
I don't know about
Trouble.
kisses. I don't know about kisses yet.
Man kisses.
He doesn't like me. He says I'm too short.
Oh. He likes,
Not his type.
He likes people Big Dave style. It's funny, Big Dave. It was band Feedback. I was like 12, and my dad brought home this CD or my godfather, Mike Key, that worked at my dad's studio, Rock the World Studios. And so a bunch of bands would record there. Social Burn recorded there. Presence recorded there. So I'd get all these like demos all the time. Oh, check out this band. Check out this band. Check out this band. You know, and I'd be falling asleep in my bed with my headphones on, CD player. One of them was a Feedback, that song. Something, fuck you. And it was like, it's Dave singing. And I was trying to find that the other day. And I found like a backup tape that's from like an old 1998 Mac.
Right.
And I got to figure out how to do this whole data thing, but I'm going to try and bring back some of those old songs from some of the local guys and like give it to them, you know, if I can. Even if it'd be cool if I could actually pull up the old sessions, like individual tracks and stuff from all that.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what Social Burn recorded there. They did a couple songs, but it wasn't any of the tracks that like did the big.
It wasn't like Down.
I mean, I don't know what songs it was. I'm sure it was part of their songs and the songwriting process, but those takes of those songs didn't go anywhere. You know, I guess they did. It might have helped them get signed. I don't know. But I saw everybody talking about that. I really like that song Utopia. The bass player would sing.
Yes. Dusty.
It was always great live. Like, man, he always did so good live at Floyd's. But I saw him and I was thinking of Brett Hessler there at Floyd's. I saw him in that band, Noel Virgos Malo. Was it Virgos Malo?
I think it was.
Brett Hessler was
I think it was.
Virgos Malo. I saw them at Floyd's doing sound check one time, and I had ate a bunch of mushrooms. I was like taking off during sound check. Just sitting there on a bar stool, one kid in the room, he's up there singing, you know, and I'm just looking at him.
You're stuck to the rafters.
It was, man, that was a fun night. One of my best friends was with me. He passed away. Drugs, you know. So it's a thing in our community is taking over is drugs. If anybody's out there right now, drugs are bad.
Okay.
Like the bad ones, you know. I don't know what the hell's in that shit people are doing these days.
Fucking floor cleaner and stuff. I don't know.
My buddy died of heroin. Heroin overdose. Called a mobile rehab place to come get him. And I got shot up one last time and they found him in his car.
Fuck.
Yeah, brutal. Up in Tennessee. He was into music. He was one of the ones we'd sneak over to my dad's studio and see if my dad was there. We'd take his mom's car. You know? Show up over there and they'd let us in, man. Showed us the way it rocked. Giving it back. She's into some new stuff.
So, what are you into now?
Not drugs.
We're not talking about drugs.
That's a hell of a segue.
Yeah.
She is working with signed bands in an independent record label with Jeff Hansen.
Silent Majority Group.
She also just finished New York University music
I did.
thing.
I actually got confirmation today that I did graduate.
Oh, she passed.
Outstanding.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's Music Industry Essentials, NYU. You know, for some reason going into it, I thought, I love school. I love college. This will be a cakewalk. It was not. It kicked my ass. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was in there doing projects that I just never even dreamed to be a part of what I was studying, but it was a really great learning experience. I got to do a lot of deep dives. You know, there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of musicians that have gone to NYU for a formal education and who, you know, have really taken off. So, you know, a lot to learn there. Everything from, you know, different revenue streams you can take as a musician, you know, career paths, goals, marketing in the new economy. Producing a record.
It's a whole new world.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Especially between it started about 1991, 2014 is really when streaming took off. So a lot of things have changed in the industry, and, you know, one of the biggest questions that a lot of musicians have are, how do I get my music heard? how do I market it? How do I put it out there? What is the strategy? What is the key? How do I get past all these gatekeepers? So it was a really great experience to, really sit down with a lot of these professors and a lot of these deep dives that we would go into with these artists, about, well, what do I do from here? I have the song, I have this great product, I have this great music. What now? So it taught me a lot. And while I was in class, I do what I've always done. I've always positioned myself while I'm getting my education to be exactly where I need to be to, be taken under someone's wing or to gain the experience that I need while I'm getting my education. So it's not just conceptual, it's a hands-on approach to, well, let me see how these methods really do work. Let's implement this and try it out and see if it's like a, successful thing, or, just really diving into the research and just finding out these little tips and tricks that just a lot of musicians aren't. Are you?
I keep kicking.
That is adorable.
So yeah, it's been great. I actually reached out to Jeff Hansen because when I was taking these courses, like I said, when I first got.
You should probably explain who Jeff is. I don't think.
Oh, okay. No. So Jeff Hansen was the artist manager for and responsible for artists like Creed and Paramore, Seven Dust, Alter Bridge, Candlebox. The list is ridiculous.
Candlebox.
Yeah. So Jeff has sold over 50 million albums worldwide. So he's a staple in the music industry, especially with rock in particular. He is trying to branch out to other genres now, but like Chris mentioned earlier, was co-manager for Big Dismal Big Dismal. And
Big Dismal's actually dropping a new track.
I saw you posting some
on
shit.
the 8th. Well, I traveled with him, and I grew up with him. Eric's like a big brother, and then Chuck and Big Dismal taught me a bunch of guitar chords. So I learned to play from him being like, here's one chord tonight, and I'd be doing it on the acoustic, man, trying to get these big old chords. I come back in, I got it, and like he'd show me the next one for that progression, So I've done a lot with them, and they got a new song coming out on the 8th, and they had dropped another one.
Stay in the Fight is the one coming up, and then Fly Again is the one that it's actually I can't remember which chart it was on, but it was number 1 for 38 weeks.
Yeah, not Skillet.
And then just jump back onto, after being off for a week or two, just jump back on the charts. I think at like number 12.
Oh, they do
and
good.
Still rising.
They're on.
Yeah.
They're on Jeff's independent label called
they are signed with Silent Majority Group. Mm-hmm.
And that is who she's working under with that. One of the cool things that I got to see, because I got to watch her take that class with NYU, so some of the topics, one of them was the history of like the recording process and like how it like started and stuff like that.
They made us go all the way back to the gramophone.
Super cool.
In like the early 1800s. I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me right now? But
a dude with a funnel in his ear.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, that course she took was it covered a wide thing, all the way to drawing your own stage plot, like an actual stage plot of, as an artist, like how you would want your stage to look like.
Yes, so like a conceptual like performance where you had to map out everything from your visuals, your media, the color lights that you use, which stage you were gonna pick. I did Red Rocks because clearly, like, eventually I would love to.
Yeah, she did Red Rocks.
But yeah, it was mapping that out, drawing that out. Listing out, where all of your, speakers are going to go and where you're going to hang your banners, and, just very, very detailed to producing the record and having to annotate where every single piece of equipment in that studio would go for.
No, you just skipped over projects. You were talking about.
That it was a project that I had to do.
Yeah, but that was a different one, designing the studio.
Yeah, it was.
She had to design a live thing like at Red Rocks, and then she also had to design a studio how she would design a studio and utilize the space and stuff like that. So anyway, her degree like covered this wide range of stuff.
Yeah.
And then her internship, which I was telling her was pretty awesome because it's a whole new world that when like I was traveling with Big Dismal, you weren't thinking of Spotify and online streaming. Yeah, like you really
just marketing.
not like you would today.
Yeah.
And so she's learning that world of stuff. And at the show this weekend.
Oh yeah.
You're
I am.
offering something with that.
I'm actually going to be raffling off 6 weeks of free playlisting.
Which is.
Do we not know what playlisting is?
Do you know what playlisting is? I wouldn't know. I think
on
you should
Spotify?
explain to the younger band and the audience out there what playlisting is.
So essentially, a part of what I do under the label is reaching out to curators from, Spotify and Apple Music, even running TikTok campaigns, reaching out to curators, establishing relationships, submitting songs for specific playlists. So there's a lot of research involved to make sure that, the genre matches, whoever, curator you're reaching out to, that it makes sense for your artist to be there. So playlisting specifically right now I might be doing it for One Day Alive soon, but specifically right now for Psycho Hill, just ran a campaign for them. They got...
Go check them out on Spotify, Psycho Hill.
Psycho
They're
Hill.
pretty good, up and coming.
Yeah, they are. They have about 400,000 streams at this point. Just did a campaign for them where they jumped up almost 19,000 streams in just 2 weeks. And then One Day Alive, another artist with SMG, they have over 2 million streams. They're looking at doing a tour just here in Florida, and then the Southeast before they actually go on a nationwide tour.
Yeah, they're hoping to do a spring break tour. Coastal.
Yes, so I'm actually really excited too. I'm helping out with booking as well, but they just had Jason Knoll of Saving Abel just join the band as well. He has been co-producing and co-writing with One Day Alive for quite some time now, and decided officially just a couple of weeks ago. I don't even think the band... Sorry, guys. I don't even think the band has announced it yet.
Oops.
But
Exclusive.
so
Can we delete that?
So whenever I said that this is being edited, I was kidding.
I think the closest thing I have to delete is... That's about it. You guys don't remember nothing.
But yeah, so, and then we just signed Mick Blankenship, who's actually doing really well as well. But a lot of these artists, they have been busting ass. They've already positioned themselves, as far as like doing all the right things, making sure that their branding's on point, making sure, obviously it all starts with the song, but yeah, so it's been incredible to work with these artists and just being taken under Jeff's wing. There's so many things that I just wasn't even aware of until he was like, yeah, this is how this works. So, so
it's one of those sink or swim things.
And he did. He completely, and he even said this to me a couple of months after I started working with him. He said, look, he said, I threw you to the sharks. Like, that's what I did. He's like, I threw you in the deep end because that's the way this industry is. Like, you're going to sink or swim. No.
I should have brought a pen.
But so it's been an incredible experience. I'm extremely grateful to Jeff for deciding to. It was really, I met him one time, had a 20-minute conversation with him, reached out to him a couple of months later and was like, hey man, so I'm taking...
Remember me?
Yeah, remember this picture? Like, I sent him the picture. I was like, oh, we met here at Bubba's in Tallahassee that one time. And, I said, I really, really want to make it in this industry. I want to progress. And, I'm in this course at NYU, but I really want to take it to the next step. I want to apply these things, and I need someone to give me guidance because, there's a lot of gatekeepers in this industry, and you have to be very strategic. you know, and so he kind of left me on red for a while, and the next day I remember being like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah,
like,
she
I
told me.
cannot believe.
So I messaged Jeff.
I was like, so I messaged.
I would like to intern. And I was like, shit, okay.
All right then.
And so I was so embarrassed, and he left me on red. I saw that he read it, and I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, yeah, so I just want to go crawl in a corner and die now. But I see that you read this already, so I'm just gonna, leave it there. And he messaged me back,
She
and
sent a picture
and
crying.
he said, no, I did not. But he messaged me back, and he said, I will help you. And I was like, sweet, this is the way. So it literally took off from there. He even tried to cancel the first meeting that we were supposed to have. He messaged me probably 20 minutes beforehand and was like, I'm not really feeling up to it today. Can we reschedule this? And I read that message, and I was like, mm-mm. So I called him anyway, video chat. He was laying in bed. He's like, hello? I was like, hey, yeah, so let's get this going. Let's talk
since I
about
got
this.
you
Let's
here.
do it, And I really think that it was that persistence. Like I said, I've always known that I need to position myself, accordingly if I wanted to get to the places that I wanted to go. And you just got to get to a point where you're like, I'm not taking no for an answer.
Which was cool because she got to one morning. I woke up and she's working on something that working with Creed's logo.
Oh yeah,
and
he
I'm
was
like,
tripping.
I'm like, how cool is it that I get to be the one waking up not doing something in music, right? And she's doing all the shit in music on a whole nother level, of her own, and in a thing like that, and then. She's doing that, and then Creed announces that they're also getting back together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy shit! How cool is this now? The chances of maybe she'll get to do some kind of stuff like that. Maybe
Yeah.
I get to just be I get the free ticket tonight. I get to just hang out, do nothing,
You're the arm candy.
Yeah. What are you gonna do
I'm
for that
the house
free ticket,
husband.
sir?
I just, I just take care of chickens. I've been helping, I've been just letting the chickens out during the yard and during the day. And I get to just sit there and watch over my flock for a little while, and I've started doing that over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, where I just let them out of their coop finally.
He said, "This is how I want to retire."
I was like,
chickens every day.
I think I just want to do this.
I had chickens. They're awesome.
They're cool.
I named them all Steve, so I wouldn't fuck that up.
I named one Leonard.
But between my shepherd and the raccoons, the
dog
they
got
didn't
'em?
make it. Oh yeah, she figured out they squeak once. And after that squeak, she don't want to play with them no more. And I was like, you son of a bitch.
Damn.
Yeah, I spent a ridiculous amount of money on a little tiny chick that
my
I came
God.
home, and he escaped through one of the just tiny little. We didn't even see it. Just this,
Her favorite
slipped
chick,
out.
though.
Yeah, so his name was Chicken Little. Okay.
He had a mohawk?
Chicken Little. He did. He had a
pretty
little
cool. He
cool
had,
little mohawk. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. You're my favorite chicken. And so I go in there and I count the chickens, and they're not there. And I look out and I see my dog with something in his mouth, and I'm like, Duke! And I just see him go, bleh, and drop it on the ground, and I'm like, no.
It was still breathing.
It was still breathing. He wasn't bleeding. He probably had a lot of internal
Guess what
injury.
she did with it?
Nursed it back to health.
Nope.
I tried.
She went to the most
spent
expensive
200
animal hospital, the 24-hour Northwood Animal Hospital.
Oh yeah, I've dropped off some shit there.
Dude.
Dropped it off. Didn't stay to pick it up.
$200 for this chicken that was maybe $1.25, And she brings it home. And it's
What is the
wrapped up.
cost of a life, man?
Hot towel thing, or the
It's in a
heated
fucking
blanket.
body cast, a little chicken.
Oh my God! We wake up, it's dead.
Yeah, I mean,
So
but
it died, and I'm like, man, we've got to now we
Chicken
got to have
nugget.
so many eggs to make up for
But-
that $200 on that chick.
But-
We didn't even know if it was a rooster. It could have ended up being a male.
whatever. I would have loved him, and he would have been great, and he would have been a part of the family. Okay, but anyways, I do have little chick antibiotics and little chick pain medicine now, so I'm geared
For
up
the next chick.
for a little chick hospital if I need one. It's
anyone
right there
needs
next to my bed.
assistance for the
We're
chick.
good to go.
She's also a chicken doctor. on top of all these other things. You know,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I
If you
have,
need
like,
any
5
chicken
jobs.
flexeril, hit them up.
You know what my favorite things about chickens are, though?
The taste.
They taste really good.
That's right.
Yep. Like, chicken cacciatore, chicken parm.
she makes a good. What is that chicken you make now?
Fried.
Fried buttermilk chicken. She does like a buttermilk.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
it is
Buttermilk's
good.
a
Yep, and there's
fried
also chicken wings.
It's pretty
That's my
good.
jam.
I'm not a big wings eater.
Yeah.
I don't mind going to Hooters and like.
You know, and I'm with you, Chris. I don't like to fight my food. When I take a bite of something, I want to fucking bite. That's why I don't like crab, because you go through a lot of work for a
It's
little
lot
bit of meat.
work. Crap, somebody else can do that for me.
And I'm like, Jesus, just make a sandwich out of this son of a bitch.
That's why you get like 10 or 15 of them.
Or just buy.
I don't have that kind of time.
Lobster.
I don't have that. I don't have that time.
You got to get it where you can suck it out real quick. Yeah.
Exactly.
Joseph Hasbro, I think I saw him in the comments
I've got
speaking of
technique.
sucking crab meat out of the thing.
He was. Somebody very near and dear to my heart says she knows what she's talking about. Shout out Ian.
Oh, yep. How about Ian? Was the reason that X101.5
Yes.
That's
got
right.
on. I just had a whim, and I was like, oh, Ian's working at 101. I was like,
Yeah, aren't we giving away some tickets?
We are. I don't. I think there's been how many? Hold on. I gotta switch screens real quick. Go over here. I can't see my cursor. How many entries? 2 entries.
2 entries.
Yes.
Alright.
50-50 chance.
Tammy, you don't count.
Didn't do it. I didn't do it either.
Well, we bought our tickets. We're good.
You didn't have to do. Did
saw
you
the-
bring their sponsor badges?
no, I didn't. Y'all do have sponsors.
Yeah, you guys
Oh.
get in.
Laminates.
for
You
free.
got laminates? I made
I
laminates for everyone because I was like, man, now that
Well,
I'm
in
like
that-
closed, I don't have any
In that
laminates
case, I
for
might
many
have
shows.
5 tickets to give away. Because I
Yeah,
bought.
you guys get in free.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have sponsor
I
badges.
bought, I bought me and
See, I have, of course, gotten in free at
that's
the
how I'm giving
venue
these away.
a couple times.
We make Bilbo we make him take our money.
Yeah, he
But that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like this event is a fucking yeah,
still
it's
pay.
a charity.
I stand in line. I fucking stand in line to
Yeah.
get into the
Yeah,
venue. But
this-
I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I got keys. Like,
Yeah,
walk in,
this-
you know, like, but I stand in line and I
I know
pay.
the weak spots.
Yeah, you
I
know,
can just
because
walk
that's
around.
just.
No, I will gladly accept the badge.
Yeah.
If only as a keepsake, if anything else.
Yeah, it's definitely. a keepsake,
But yeah, no, we're paid. So
Yep. No,
I love Flash, man.
tickets are bought and paid for, and I would
Yes.
have done that anyways.
Dude, I love the Flash. I got working
Right,
with Big
trickle out the
Visible on the
kids.
road. Like, I still got that, like, in my closet, hanging up all the cool laminates and stuff. And I was like, because now that we're not in the venue anymore, like, I'm like, damn, I wish I had like posters and laminates.
We
and,
do.
like,
They're all hanging up
We have a
on
lot
our
of posters.
fence behind my she shed.
tell you, man, I went to look up like some of my old events, and when Facebook first started, you couldn't send out more invites unless people had responded. So I would go and delete my old events, especially my biggest ones, because like I'd send out all the things. So like I go to my previous history of events. The only place to look at it is on Facebook, and none of my good events are on there for like the first like 3 years because I had to delete them so that I could put out more invites, you know, for inviting people. And I was like, crap, I really like don't know like what shows did I do, you know, like those were the first 4 years were really good bands.
We did over 500 just from when I stepped in.
Oh yeah, I mean I've done a ton of bands.
Yeah.
I had an old laminate hanging over there, and I wasn't thinking about it when I made it, but it was for a Deathify show, and we had to come in through the rear, the back door.
That's what
you
she
know?
said?
Yeah, and it says rear access only on the other side of it. It was kind of maybe not so much on purpose, but I
great.
thought it was funny.
That's great.
Yeah, it was. I was floating around.
I
with
have
something. I don't know
a
what it's
Deja
called.
Vu banner, like a
Yeah.
fucking banner that I didn't realize I had for like years and years, and I finally unraveled this thing, and I was like, oh my god, this is somebody's banner, you know, like.
We still ended up with that X101.5 banner that we had from the Christmas show that we threw
They
a
found
few
one.
years ago. No, we kept the one that they have there. Like, they know.
Did we?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
I don't know.
Shit, we were looking for that.
We had a huge X1015 banner when we played Warped Tour. I don't know whatever happened to that. Ian probably
I
kept
had
it.
one hanging up at my old place off Pensacola, like big one that AJ had brought in, because I used to do a ton of X115 shows stuff. Yep. So
December 9th.
December 9th. Man, it's going to be fun.
I think Preston will be there taking photos, old flashover photography. So make sure that people pose for photos when he's in there. Make look like you're having fun. Yeah. He's a good kid.
So it's both stages running.
Both stages.
Right? Tiki stage, main
There's
stage.
15 minutes in between bands, but there's also a 15-minute overlap. So you can technically see every single band for at least 15 minutes.
Okay, because we were discussing that last show,
Yeah.
and we were trying to figure out how that was going to work, because you had to make some sacrifice during the band queue. Like, I missed some of core because I was watching Trial by Stone.
Well, my stage was on time. The other stage.
I'm just saying,
the other
I was
stage
standing
not on
outside
time,
freezing my
and-
balls off.
And again, I'll just warn bands now. I'm helping get bands on and off the stage and make sure you're getting started on your time, because that's why that 15-minute interval in this time schedule is so important, is so that you can see every band. That's why I do this the way I have them staggered.
Let me know if you need help. I'll throw a fucking cymbal off a stage.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Hey, that's what I learned from Shaggy. I learned how to throw some
I'll
fucking
pitch a
equipment
bass
off the
rig
stage.
right off the front.
Oh shit!
I've seen Shaggy sling a bass rig. There was a band, Robin Thieves, local band, played my club off Pensacola Street, and Shaggy was running something, man, and fucking bass player had like set the bass in the bass case right next to the stairs that were dark as shit. And I mean, like right in front of the stairs or something. Man, Shaggy went and go down those stairs and like trip over it,
boy.
dude. He picks it up and goes, whoo, like this. And dude, the kid's like, oh my God. Like I remember his hair shaking, and like he's like the whole moment of terror, and like he couldn't believe it. But Shaggy was like, fuck you in that bass, or like something like that. And I was like, all right then, like I had to kind of deal with that, but he was right to do it, learning about the grouchy sound, man. It was that was an instance with Shaggy, and then Pete. I know y'all know Pete. Now Pete's a very seasoned sound guy. Has worked with some big stuff, and he handles big stuff. Somebody came out on stage playing like a saxophone or something, and the guy's like barely doing it, and Pete's like, if you're not going to play the instrument, just get off the stage. And the dude was up there like playing that, giving it his all for the sound check. I was like, Pete, that was brutal. He's like, he looks over at me. He's like, spits in a cup. And he's like, I live for this shit. And I was like, I guess somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to be that one to tell the player, like,
fucking Shaggy. So we're doing sound check at Floyd's, and it's my turn. So I start playing Primus Southbound Pachyderm, and Shaggy's like, stop. Is that as loud as you're gonna play? And I was like, no. He's like, quit fucking around. Like, yes sir, I'll play something a little bit
it's the same,
louder.
it's like drummers. It's like kids who've never sound checked before, or bands who are 40 that have never sound checked before. Like, if you're gonna hit that tom, hit it like you're gonna hit it at the show. Don't.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Sound check is a solo, because everybody's out there listening, so you kind of tone it down a bit, and then once the energy gets in, all of a sudden you're louder.
Maybe
maybe sound guys could
some
just like take an
musicians are
arm
"Fuck
and
it,
just
sound
like
check. I'm gonna make this
scrape.
room. Y'all are all gonna be grooving. I've seen some serious bass players, man. Honestly, that Gary that plays in Big Dismal, he was a mover, and man, he was a entertainer, like bass player entertainer.
Joe McDermott.
Huh?
Joe McDermott.
I mean, this fucker would swing on shit, and really good. I like it, but he would rock,
Yeah.
And anytime he was playing, if he was playing a note, it's rocking, and there's
You can hear it.
No timid,
Yeah.
anything, and there's no time for timidness in a 15-minute changeover.
No.
So y'all better get it good, December 9th, bands.
I will hop up on that stage. I've done it before. I had to tell a local drummer, be a fucking rock star on your own time. Get this shit off the stage.
Oh yeah, Falls Chase.
Oh my God! I wasn't gonna call him out,
Was
but
it
anyways.
Falls Chase?
Yes, it was
It
Falls
was Falls
Chase.
Chase.
Yeah, Dylan.
Yeah, it was Dylan.
Shout out
fucking
Dylan.
off. Yeah. I remember that.
One of my
you know?
faves. Yeah, I just started handing this shit off to random people at the front of the stage. Like here, take this hi-hat stand. Go
I
send
got
it
to
somewhere.
where I started doing that sometimes, and I start being like, wait a minute, I'm a sound guy. I'm not touching this shit. Get your shit off the stage. Like, I would rather yell at you than me touch it, you know, than to move your shit, you know.
I just like to see the look of terror when I just start handing shit to random.
Start taking it out the wrong
Like
place.
a guy obviously is looking for a beer, and I'm like, here's some hi-hats.
You know, it's so funny. Dude, the band, they're playing this weekend. Mutual Friends just played at Legacy this past weekend for that show, which I'm sure was actually pretty good, 96 Nation and stuff. And they were like, hey, do you happen to see any stands and like drum parts like sitting around the club? And I'm like, bro, like I'm not fucking running that place anymore. Like what the hell? And they were like, sent me a list. And I'm like, dude, it's like a whole drum set. Like, how did you leave and not realize that you don't have like all your stuff, you know, like to that extent? It's funny, but that's how I end up with things as a club owner, and then I donate them to young bands coming up. You know?
Or Alicia ships them to whatever traveling band accidentally left them there, and so that's fun.
Someone ganked Tantric left a stand that was like chains welded together, and I had that thing for a long time, and someone fucking ganked it like one night, and I was like so pissed off because I was like, man, I had that thing for like 2 years. And like I've been proud that I like had this. It was like a wireless thing to it, and I don't know who got that, but somebody in town, because it was a local show, has that damn mic stand.
We're gonna be watching.
Yeah, there's no way you don't know that that's
Wait a
not
minute,
your
it's a chain
stand.
link mic stand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Zach Wild uses one.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool. And fuck Tantric. They took when we played with them, they took the entire goddamn hour for sound check.
No, dude.
I'm like, dude, nobody cares. Knock it off. Get the fuck
they
off. Our turn.
They played it at the river, and Hugo was a little not nice, you know, to my staff. You know, asked somebody if they knew where to get meth. But I wasn't sure if he was talking shit, you know, really like calling her a meth head, you know, or if he was like actually asking for meth, but it 50-50. You know,
Yeah,
like,
you know, it's all in con.
she wasn't a meth head. I think he was just being insulting, you know.
Yeah, it took the entire time. We actually were doing sound check as people were coming into the venue. We were like, oh, you know what, whatever.
Yeah, that sucks. I try not to do that.
We're like,
I'd rather hold
I feel like
doors.
we've had a few shows where, you know, we've had some prima donnas, and we've had like a line full of people just fucking waiting to come in, like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm sorry, like the band will not, you can't come in, they're still sound checking, and they're like, we're 20 minutes over like doors and we're all standing out here, what the hell?
Quit sound checking, just go.
And it's so funny, it'll be the ones that like shouldn't be that way, you know, and then the ones that you would expect to be that way
are totally cool.
They're like, oh, sounds great, you know, like roll with it, you know, and like they're happy because they don't really need to hear that well on stage to know their part, you know what I mean? And some people just like act like if they can't hear the right frequencies, you know, or if you don't cut that, you know, frequency out, you know, blah blah blah, even though it's not feeding back or anything, you know, like they can't perform. You know?
I want a little bit of guitar. I want some kick. I want some hi-hat. Maybe a little snare. Other than that, no singer. I don't need no singer.
Yeah.
Singer's doing whatever anyways.
Makes it easy.
Yeah, just put that shit in my monitor and leave me alone.
Yeah.
I already know the song.
Yeah, season ones are usually really easy. Power Man was kind of a dick.
Yeah, so was Crazy Town.
Crazy Town was a dude. Their
God.
drummer, holy shit, their drummer was an asshole and fucking snapped my 57. I swear he did it on purpose. Like towards the end, I didn't even notice until like everything was going. Maybe someone else was helping me tear the mics down that night or something. But like, I was like, holy shit, my mic's laying on the ground. You know, like in pieces. You know, it was an asshole. So it's like be an asshole on top of it. I've dealt with some dicks. And then what's her name that everybody warned me about? Otep's singer. She came in. I mean, she was a diva, but not as bad as like everyone said she was. But you had to turn the lights down for sound check. Like it had to be like you couldn't have like any other lights on and stuff like that. And I had to pull out all the rugs in the venue because they smelled like smoke. Because you couldn't smoke like 2 days before she got there, and if it smelled like smoke, they said she'd leave.
Wow.
Yep. So you had to do that. She pulled out a Donald Trump head, put it on a spike. It was like spinning it. And like blood was going all over the crowd. And some people in the crowd were like, I can't believe you allowed that. You know, and I'm like,
it's not your show. You're not on stage. Yeah,
it's art. You know, like
whatever.
Why would I care?
Look at Gwar.
She didn't make me take down my "Don't Tread on Me" flag. You know, because people had like told me she's gonna make you take that down. I was like, I'm not taking that down. You know, like she can leave. You know, like
not treading on that.
Yeah, I'm not taking that down.
Read it.
Like I'll move the rug out because it smells like smoke. Sure, you know, even though I don't really want to. You know, like I did that, but she was cool. Let me leave that up. Probably enjoyed doing the Donald Trump head even more because that flag was up. You know,
it's all in good fun.
That was a good show. I tell you, who was really cool and awesome to work with was I got Psycho Hill in my head. Psycho Stick.
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I did a couple shows.
Yes.
They came back. So cool, man. Cool, easy to work with, and like so down to earth. Stayed to meet everybody, and they traveled with a one-eyed doll. And I don't know if y'all seen that girl ever, but she's real awesome, you know, and like leads everybody to at the end of the show. She's like, "Follow me, everyone," and like marches off the show as the band's playing, and they follow her to the merch booth. So she takes the whole crowd to the merch booth. Yeah, and
well, that's so important.
Cool gimmick,
is actually engaging, especially when you're an up and coming artist, right? Is really after the show getting down there into the crowd and talking to the people who saw your show, talking to the crowd, introducing.
After you got your shit off stage.
OTEP did actually tell everyone they weren't allowed to sell merch while they were on stage. So while she's performing, you're not allowed to be running your merch booth because she wants everybody focused on her thing, which I mean is kind of. But she kicked a band that used to come. I think it was WOR. We did a lot of stuff with them, but they were on tour with like OTEP. I think they kicked them off or something like that. I think it was WOR. So many bands.
Dude, I love Psycho Stick. I like comedy.
Yeah.
I'm a huge comedy fan anyways. And the worse it is, the better it is for me.
So you like that new guy, that new country guy then? Wheeler
Walker Jr.?
Yeah.
He's not new, but yeah, he just put out
not new, but yeah.
Yeah, he just put out a new album, Raw. Yeah. Oh my God, that is country.
I used to play him in the club on the videos. I would play him all the time.
Yeah, he is
I wanted to get him.
Hilarious.
Couldn't get him. He's great. Don't listen to it if y'all are listening.
Yes.
Are people still watching?
Yes.
Yes, there's a few.
Look.
We got a little bit of shit going on in the chat
Look,
here.
Slim, though, said he sold merch in the parking lot that night. He must be talking about OTEP. They might have been one of the ones.
This one? We sold merch in the parking lot.
Yeah, it must have been.
That night.
Yep, he said, yeah, that was the OTEP. That was a good show. I tell you, Non-Point was really good. That was one of my best shows. That sound guy, that was when I had like a PV PA, and he was like, bro, he's like, I don't know that we could do this show like with this PA. He's like, but I'll try. And he's like, I'm sorry, you know. He like melted all my PA, you know. But we did the show, and it was great. I saw they were lighting up, you know, like all of them. And he blew it, and I realized then, like, oh my God, like good PV stuff is like crap commercial stuff, you know, and had to go commercial. That's what Dave Hart helped me out a lot back in the day.
Yeah, we played with Non-Point a bunch. They were always fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
Tell you what, Alexa from Straight Line Stitch, complete sweetie. She hung out in our merch booth before the show, so we opened them and they were obviously closing. But so she hung out in our merch booth for 3 hours.
Damn.
Just chilling in there with a hoodie on, and I didn't know anything about Straight Line Stitch. And I'm like, who's this chick just hanging out? And I figured it must be, you know, a guitar player's new girlfriend or something. I don't know who this lady. And she got up there, and when she opened up, I was like, holy shit, are you okay? I was like, that sweet little thing that was hanging out in the merch booth just got mad. She was angry. But yeah, they're pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure who they are right off the top of my head.
Oh, you'll have to check them out. They're yeah.
You know what local person I would like to see come play? Jake Owen.
Jake Owen.
Y'all know his name is Josh Owen. Is his real name? Might not be allowed to say that.
He's a country performer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, he's from here.
No, I had no idea.
I went to school here.
FSU too.
It's funny is he recorded out here down the road, 8-second ride with Eric, like half mile down the road, and went to Nashville, and real big.
Blew up.
He was a tennis player or something like that, or golf player, but he played at Potbelly's one night, acoustic solo, no one in there, right? And he played. And my buddy Terrell, horrible, really into rock, hates country. He finished the song. Fucking Terrell stands up, applauding, you know, and I'm like, you know, and he appreciated it. He was like, "Thank you, man." You know, I'm like, only person in there to stand up and applaud, you know, and that fucker would sell out that whole block right now, the
Absolutely.
Civic Center, you know, and so it's just, it goes to show like what is capable in Tallahassee, in that little solo acoustic opener could end up headlining the damn, you know, Civic Center, you know, and stuff like that. And that was recorded on that Pro Tools rig, that 1998 Mac, you know. And those tapes are somewhere from that stuff. I could never get him to play though.
Slim says Super Bob was good as well. Loved playing with those guys. Yeah.
Oh man, they did a ton of shows with me.
Yeah.
Them and Almost Kings were down here a lot, and then Almost Kings kind of dropped off. Super Bob kept going.
I got a funny Floyd story about Super Bob too. We actually closed. We got the lineup, and I was like, "Wait a minute, we're playing after Super Bob?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's New Year's show. You guys are playing last. You guys go on at midnight."
Oh.
Dude, as soon as Super Bob left, so did everybody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was over. We were just exiting music.
It's
it was
so funny
fucking great.
how much I can't remember his name right off rip right now, but the guitar player for Super Bob looks like the dude from Game of Thrones, the northern guy. Like they were like identical twins.
The northern guy?
Jon Snow?
Jon Snow?
No, not Jon Snow. The wildling, the main wildling.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
one that
the
like
big redhead?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Super Bob's guitar
What's
player.
his name?
Just like him.
Yeah, the redhead.
Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Tyrion Lannister.
No.
No.
That's my favorite.
No, he liked the big woman. He's like, I like the big woman.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah,
tall
he
lady.
was like in love with Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah. He's like, she could. There's something about her legs.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Anyway,
you
they were
know
great.
her. Yeah, we've met.
I love it.
Looks like we got some kind of argument going on. If you have a problem with Maiden, then I have a problem with you.
What?
And Mason says, OTEP just had a big problem with Iron Maiden, and we all wore Iron Maiden shirts.
Yeah, she's real opinionated.
Yes.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Torn. Yes.
Tormund.
But now you got to look up like pictures of Super Bob and when the
He's a firefighter now.
Yeah, he's a firefighter. And he cut his hair off, so he doesn't look like him anymore. But
What use is it?
But yeah, he did. He looked just like him. Matt was the singer. Love Super Bob. Lots of cool people, man. I got to work with lots of cool people. Lazy Bone was a cool show. I was
Yeah.
really excited for that one. I was like, I don't care if no one comes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's your show,
I'm gonna
right?
enjoy this show.
Yep.
And I hung out with him, smoked him out, you know, and he was like, I can't, man. I was, yeah, that's right. You know, like, I got a picture of me and my brother with him, you know, but that was a cool moment because I grew up listening to, like, you know, Brent from Quincy, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and man, that was cool. And then I did, we did hip hop open mic every Monday for years. So, like, man, like I said, those artists here in town, that's what, like, we saw Legacy did, you know, kind of pissed me off. Didn't piss me off, but I was like, damn, they took my damn name and now it kind of messed it up, the Clackamas River Music Festival.
Right.
You know, because we were talking about maybe doing that again, Alicia and I. And,
Giant, though.
but doing the multi-genre where we're including the local hip-hop crowd.
Right.
Plus, you know, all the local original music to bring them together. You know, that's what was cool about those hardcore metal kids and EDM. They would also do the rap
Yeah.
as well. So they would do rappers, hardcore metal, and like some EDM sets, like for the end of the night. Like it was always super cool, you know, how they mashed everything together. But I could never get like the rock crowd to want to be a part of that whole scene. Just because those kids are, man, slap you in the face with their fist, you know, like if you're standing too close to them, you know. But we want to do that festival.
And we have been talking to, like I've been talking to, you know, Parks and Recreation, City of Tallahassee, to do a giant event, get some people booked at, you know, 4th of July. You know, it's 20,000 people you get to play in front of.
Absolutely.
So Mario, he's actually been managing booking for COT for quite some time. You know, so I've been talking to him, putting bugs in his ear, and he's like, hey, yes, we are totally open to, like, throw artists our way. You know, the city has a really good budget for it. It's really great pay.
Yeah, for
and
Tom Brown.
Yeah, and so
Lots of avenues for
yes,
big
so
stuff.
we've been trying to establish, you know, really good connections and relationships with them so that we can get a lot more exposure, especially here locally for, you know, these up and coming artists. So, you know, hopefully, I actually need to check back in with him to see, because I know they have everything booked for next year, but so it wouldn't be till 2025. But, you know, hey, you got a year, get your shit together. You know, if I'm pitching, it's gonna have to be top quality. Yeah. You know,
I played
bands.
Tom Brown Park for 4th of July with Soul Creek, and we were the last band right before the
fireworks.
The fireworks.
Yeah.
They did the Star Spangled Banner like right after us with the fireworks, but man, everybody was like, I don't remember who played before us, but it must have been boring as shit because like no one in the field is like standing up, giving a care, and man, we came out and we did like one open note, like wow, and dude, you see people stand up and they start coming down that hill like this, and it was like 35,000 people coming down this hill from like, I'm just in a little local band, you know, like playing with
plays that video
way more
every year
seasoned people than me. Well, the 4th of July, yeah, it's the only one we got of us live.
Every year, you know, sometimes
So
a couple
cool.
times a year.
And I was the baby
you know,
in that band.
Nostalgia.
You know, like no experience compared to everyone in the band. You know,
He was so cute.
it was fun.
You were cute.
I signed lots of autographs that night on chest.
We actually knew each other then, but you know.
We did.
Speaking of signed autographs, you want to go through your list one more time?
I can do it.
Yeah.
It's Nirvana full band, Rolling Stones full band, Bruce Springsteen and his band, which some of those artists in it might be, some people might actually know who they are. You got Iggy Pop, Tom Petty. Yeah, the Iggy Pop. You're gonna have to.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll wrestle you for it.
Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, The Simpsons,
Stanley.
Who
are we forgetting? There's 10. Oh God. Did you say Tom Petty already?
It'll
say Tom Petty.
It'll be on the event.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. You have to check out the event info.
Yeah, go to the event page. In fact, there's a shitload of links in the description. The tickets, the event, the PACT, www.pactcharity.charity. PACT.charity.
Yeah. And it's like a pact. We're all making a pact
That's right.
together.
P-A-C-T. Yeah. A bunch of links in the description. Click all of those.
I tell you what would really help us is if people went to the event link and hit invite and invited their friends. I went through and did like all of the Warrior, all of mine, all of hers, to the point where it was like
you can do 500 at a time.
Yeah, and I just sat there and redid it, and then it breaks you down to you can only do 50 at a time. Pissed it off, and now it's blocked me because I did like every page I have.
That happens every time.
I mean, there's like 12,000 followers on the Warrior,
it's gonna happen.
But it's still telling me that I've only invited 7,000 people, and I'm like, well, it told me I invited all of the followers for the Warrior, which is 12,000. So I'm like, why is it only 7,000 people invited? So it must have blocked me somehow. So if people would kindly, even if you can't attend the show, go to the event and invite your friends list on Facebook, because even if one person comes from you inviting and 10 people invite people, it's at least 10 people are coming to the show.
Well, and even further, just to help the algorithm, even if you're not like, oh, everyone on my friends list is not going to attend this, so I'm not going to send every single invite that I have. Literally just comment, yo, or awesome, or just something that engages with a post is going to help us get a lot more visibility.
Yeah, that way we ain't got to pay Facebook a whole bunch of money.
Even though we are.
Even though we did do a paid ad. X101.5 is running ads for us. Big thanks to them.
Yes.
You did hear it? Yeah. And again, big thanks to Ian for hooking that up. And also, speaking of that, 101.5 is now going to try to have a local DJ that can also help out with shows and stuff like that.
Nice.
Sundays. They were going to do 7 to 12, and now I think they're doing like 12 to 6.
Didn't you bring back locals only?
Yep. I'm assuming that is probably what
that would
this
be
would
awesome.
lead into. And that's what I was talking about with like the old Pro Tools stuff, and like, especially what I'm doing now with Pro Tools. I would really like to do a locals only CD, even if it's packed.
Yeah.
Doing it, we could do it. We don't have to do it with a radio, Like, I mean, it would be cool to have the radio, but,
We'll just start a Spotify playlist called Locals Only in
How
Tallahassee.
hard would it be to set your Pro Tools rig up and record the show?
Mine, I mean, it's really not that hard. We would only be able to do one stage, though, because I don't think they have an X32 outside. I don't know what soundboard they have outside, but the music hall can, and I know that, just in case anyone wants to message Henry Degner, Degner, I know that Henry has his laptop that can definitely record multi-track, and he's got a good little ear. And I mean, if I was a local band on this show, on the music hall stage or on whatever, I would offer him $150 to be like, hey man, would you record our set on that multi-track and give us a little mix? Like even if it's, something decent, you ain't got to spend 8 hours mixing it,
right?
Easy way to make a demo.
Yeah. And
really
that board at Legacy that they have is capable of doing Firewire out in your laptop and multi-track recording, and it doesn't have to be Pro Tools. It can be what was that one I did?
Reaper.
That's
I
what
used Reaper when we did our Unplugged series with the bands during COVID. We used Reaper, and we did that. That was a bunch of bands. We did Tallahassee Nights Live, and they are a big band.
yeah, but Doc knows this stuff, man. And
Stereo
it was so
in-ears.
funny. I kept watching him restart. Nope. They'd play like the first 3 seconds. Nope. Start over. So many times
They're
before.
Grammy Award winning.
They
artists
are. They have Grammy Award winning
band
artists
here in town.
And Doc has also always supported us.
Doc
as well.
Darius Baker. Yeah, and he's on a radio.
Tallahassee Nights Live is the group that he runs.
Yeah, but I'm saying that and they just actually
opened he's on the radio. Mm-hmm. Yep.
They actually opened up a performing arts center right next to P.A.C.T.
Yep.
Which is so crazy. We saw that.
I actually reached out to him a couple of weeks ago. I need to follow up with him.
Yeah, we were riding down the road, and I said,
I was like,
I said, that says performing arts center up there. And when we did it, there was none. That was like a publicly accessible performing arts center in Tallahassee. We were the first to do what we did. There were some labeled performing arts centers, they were like private, you couldn't use it publicly. And,
or genre specific.
Yeah. So I'm glad that someone else is also doing that, because he's doing workshops and things with youth and stuff like that.
He did they actually came out to perform during, it was Black History Month, celebrating Black history, music, culture.
Did they perform?
Yeah, they came out and they performed at our show. He was actually on the news for us. I actually shoved him in front of the camera. I was like, I don't want to do it. So he got up there and he spoke, and we worked with his partner, Kenny.
Yep. The comedian.
Mostly. And great group of guys. Very supportive of the community. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I got some notes here, but I think we went over everything. I wrote down chickens.
Chickens.
Check.
Bigfoot. I just did a Bigfoot documentary that's going to come out soon with Stacey Brown.
Did you? I just Stacy was over here the other day.
Did he interview you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did the same thing.
Nice.
So his YouTube thing will be coming out.
Hell yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
He's like, I need pictures of this and pictures of that, and I was like, dude, I didn't know it was video. I should have shaved. I mean, being locked out here as busy as I am, every once in a while I forget.
Hey, nobody sees
I'm a little
you.
scruffy now. I'm wearing a Hooked on Jesus T-shirt, and I was like, oh, this is video.
She did one too, so she's gonna be on.
Yeah.
Have a video coming out. That'd be
Actually,
cool.
it was funny. Stacy reached out to Chris because Chris was like in the coop recording the
You're not
chickens.
playing footsie with me again.
And
Sorry.
I did
That's
this.
3.
I do this
That's
thing
love.
where
Yeah, it is love.
I run from the house to my she shed sometimes, like barely dressed, because it's right there on my property, and we're kind of, it's a pretty big property, so I don't think anything of it. I'm like, whatever. So Chris is like outside recording the chickens in the coop, and he's like, yeah, and you see me in the background like run across the yard in underwear, and he was like, I think that was Alicia just running across the yard in her underwear. And Stacy actually ended up reaching out to Chris, being like, she might be actually really good. And like, they were doing something.
It was like a full nude scene that he was like, it's something to do with the trailer.
One. No,
not that one.
No, that was actually when Stacy first met me. He was like, she should do this nude scene. It's like, no. But no, it was that Bigfoot movie that he was gonna do.
Oh yeah.
He wanted me to like play this character out in the So oh my God, Chris like took over directing that. He kept like cutting it, being like, nope, let's. I'm like, dude, I thought I was like,
I made her act it out.
I'm literally
instead of just reading.
Yeah, so I was literally just supposed to read. Like, here we go, just read the script. And well, he said it was between me and another girl.
They didn't even. He didn't.
But I don't really look the part of like a Southern lady.
No one got the part. I don't think he did.
Yeah, they ended up not doing it.
He's got stuff coming out though. Outcast.
4 hours we were at
like
this.
Amazon.
He made me do it over and over and over, and I'm like, this is not fun anymore to me. Like, I'm either gonna be natural and it's gonna be great, or like, no, I'm not doing it.
But everyone should come out early Saturday.
I'll be there for
Dave's last night, and those guys have something special planned right at 5.
Yep.
And I know that Ash will be there, and he does a phenomenal job with like videos. So, like, if anybody wants to be in the crowd for a band, I think Dave's last night would be a good, first band that's on. I think they're the only band that's going to be going in that first half, so it'd be good for everybody to get there and check them out. And then doors to the concert open at 5. But the restaurant opens at 11 a.m.
I was gonna say I'll be there around 3.
Yeah, so you can get there early to eat and stuff like that, and then bands load in is 3:30. But yeah, so everybody can get there early, eat, because it's Saturday, so the
you guys have a
brisket
tab,
will
by
run
the
out.
way. I'm paying for your meal. Yeah, just let me know. Already let them know.
Are you saying that to everyone online right now?
No. Sponsors.
That's what it looked like.
Sponsors. No, sponsors only. But yeah, you guys are on our tab as sponsors to get some meals and get some free drinks.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got a couple tickets to give away. Should we give them away?
Yeah, who entered?
With our 2 entries, it's 50-50. 50-50. I don't know. Let me share this screen real quick.
Does it pick it randomly, or do we have to pick?
Share? No, it picks it randomly. So I have to go over here, across the room.
It's Mason.
You only give them like a 5-second delay.
5 seconds to enter to win tickets.
Hashtag.
That's right.
I think we named Bruce Springsteen in that list, Mason.
Buck says he needs dick pics. I could have given you one last week. I didn't even think about it.
Oh, look, he entered.
There we go. Mason should be in. Does that say 3 over there? 3 entries? All right, good. Three-way thing going on here.
There's a cool tribute
I say
band
that a
that's
lot.
the Iron Maidens, and it's all women.
Yep.
I've seen that. Yep.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I've got an ant bite. And it's itching.
You mean to scratch it with my foot?
No, I'm
Your
good.
foot?
All right, should we do this thing? Are we ready to try it? See if this works?
Do it.
Ready?
1, 2.
Yeah, two's after 1. It always has been.
Asking for butt pics is a little too much.
Oh, I already sent you those, buddy. Here. Boom. Here we go.
What if they're butt chins?
The winner is.
Oh, Wendy is the mother of the Rockadillions.
Hey!
It's rigged.
Mason coming in right at the end. Tell you what I can do though.
Is that one ticket or two?
That's 2 tickets.
Oh, a pair.
But
What are you doing it again?
Let's do another one because Mason don't count.
Why not?
Because it's Mason.
Maybe he has 2 people to give tickets to. Doesn't count either.
Tammy also does not count.
Mason needs them. He's giving them to his neighbors. His neighbors just went through him.
Yeah, he does. He does. Mason is the actual original winner. Hell yes, I'm going to give them to my neighbors. Good.
All right. Sorted.
Good. You give them all the easy ones. Yeah, Mason, I'll get a hold of you, buddy, on how to collect upon those tickets. And it requires no ass pics. So stop with that. The judge says you can't do that anymore. I guess I can stop sharing screen.
Guys, thanks for coming on.
Yes, really appreciate
bored
it.
everyone to death.
Fuck no.
No,
Talking about things.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And,
Let's do this again next year sometime.
Yeah, she'll probably be some kind of record executive by then.
I know, right?
Oh, boy.
There'll be a limo pull up. I'll have to have a security scan and shit.
I'll have goats or something.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Upgrade from chickens.
And everyone watching, be sure we will be back Friday with Dave's last night. Dave and Dick will both be on the show.
Yes, they will. Yeah, extra special show Friday.
Dave's actually flying in for this show with y'all Friday.
That's right. That's the only reason.
It is.
And then he's going to fly back out and then fly in again Saturday.
That's what I heard. Flying. That's how he's rolling now.
Yeah, he just does that. All right, thank you everybody, and have a good night. We will see you
Friday.
Friday.
Saturday.
And Saturday.
And Saturday.
We will see you here Friday, and I will physically see all your beautiful faces Saturday. Where is that?